Hello, Yappers. Welcome back to the Yap Squad. This is episode 55. I'm joined by my co-host, Momo. My name is Mamba.
Hey.
You may know us from our streaming or our podcast that you're currently watching, you fucking idiot. I didn't mean that. You're cool. Today we're having a new guest on.
New guest hype.
Why don't you talk about him a little bit? You know more than I do.
Guys, I literally just showed Mamba everything I knew about him, which is very little.
I thought maybe there was like a secret thing you didn't know.
No, I saw his face. I didn't know that he was going to have a face.
His name is
Dave. Dave or David?
Dave?
Yeah.
You do know more than me.
Well, that's how he signed his emails. So.
Hello?
So that's how I'm going. But this, like we said at the end of the last episode, he's a conspiracy lover, I guess you could say cryptid, very tinfoil hat era, and we just kind of
he has merch that like it's literally a hat that says tinfoil on it. So
it's pretty sick. So we're excited for this guy.
But how schizo is he though? Because he knows that like
he's an aware schizo.
Aware schizo. Kind of like me, but not really. So it's like me.
You guys, last week we had Jack on. That was fun. And by last week, may God bless your soul.
Thank you.
By last week, I mean
3 days ago.
Yeah, but it's last week for you guys. So hopefully that it's been giving me so much trouble rendering out, but I think I figured out the issue. So it's up late, but it's up by the time you're watching this. So if you're coming from Jack's episode, get ready for a complete twist. But this guy is also a content creator. So we'll still see the inside the eyes behind. What a funny noise.
Whoop.
We'll still see inside the eyes of a content creator behind the scenes. So we hope that you'll enjoy that. I spoke to Mama about this before, but I genuinely want to start going back more into the content creator realm. I feel like that just fits us a little bit more. I want guys like Chris on.
We understand those people more. We can make jokes with them better because they understand the audience. And I think that a lot of the people that we've been having on are really just trying to sell a product at the end of the day.
Yeah, except for Chris. Chris was awesome.
Chris was cool.
I really want him. I'm hoping that we can do more with him in the future somehow, some way. I don't know what exactly we will do, but
make him the third host. Fuck it.
That'd be funny as fuck. But yeah, guys, I mean, my streams have been lacking. My bad.
Poor,
and we're doing this literally what would be like an hour after I would have started normally. So
are they back next week?
God, we'll see.
You can always borrow some moolah.
If any, that's also true. But if anything, worst case scenario, I just stream Stardew Valley regularly. Just kind of what I want to do anyway.
Based.
Who knows? Tonight, I think, because I have to go and work overnight tomorrow, to cover for somebody, which means that I will have to stay up basically all night tonight to get my sleep right. So hopefully I can do that. So I'll probably just be mindlessly playing Stardew Valley for the rest of the night anyway. And I'm thinking I won't be able to talk. So I'm thinking I could probably just do what I say in browser audio source that shit out and then just have mute Stardew Valley gameplay throughout the whole night.
You could type in chat. You could type all your responses to chat in chat.
True. Or you can just whisper. ASMR fucking Stardew Valley.
What's up, LB?
That's honestly not a bad idea.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
Guys.
Shit. We're almost at 100% achievement, guys. 1%, right?
Oh. Not close.
Damn.
I want to probably like real cool because there's 100% achievements and then there's perfection. Well, you need to get perfection to get 100% achievements. But I can have 99 achievements, 99% achievements, but still be so far away from 100% completion. I'm going for 100% completion of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could speedrun it, but I also want to play the game like naturally too. So I'm using like a mix of like speedrunning strats mixed with like normal gameplay. So it's like kind of like a little bit more tedious because like in gameplay strats or speedrun strats, you just fucking sleep over and over and over and over and over again.
Just to skip time.
Yeah. But that's not what I want to do. I want to like progress in other ways at the same time. Because people, I mean, when you speedrun, you're focusing on one particular thing at a time. Plus, I've done most things that you would already speedrun through. But
So I'm telling you, next you should get back on RimWorld. That game's fun. It's
Good.
basically farming. It's basically Stardew Valley, except you get attacked.
yeah, I don't know. Last time I played it, it just wasn't my cup. And the fact that like you said that you had to like go in like cheat menus and stuff to like make it like more fun, just didn't feel like my vibe.
I mean, it's definitely winnable without cheats. It's more a matter of like you're kind of destined to die without them eventually.
Touche. But isn't that the point?
That is the point. I just hate that.
Right. We're gonna hop in this call, see if this guy's chilling, waiting for us.
Yarr.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not, because that was awkward last time. It's been awkward the last few times that we've done that.
Oh yeah, they're just like waiting in there.
Yeah.
What up, Yap Squad?
What's going on? Right, awesome. Well, guys, this is Dave here from Echoplex Media. Dave, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a journalist of sorts, I suppose. I'm out of the San Francisco Bay Area, and I cover like online extremism, online influence campaigns, and I suppose like cults and cult-like groups as they form on the internet, and talk a little bit about how a group like that forming on the internet might be different than what you think of with like Jonestown or Scientology or something like that, where it's a top-down organization where they own property and, I don't know, make you scrub the floor with a toothbrush if you disobey them.
Dude, that's fucking cool. What?
No. What?
No, wait, that's sick. I never like learned anything about like online groups like that.
True. But I am interested to know. I'm sure you know, because everything that we look up about this, I just never seem to find a straight answer. Can you explain what the hell Scientology is to us? Because I don't know if we're just stupid or if I just can't seem to understand it at all.
Well, you may or may not be stupid, but Scientology does things to try to obfuscate to like normal people, like what it's about, right? Because first of all, they don't even really tell their members what it's about when they join, because if they lead with the story about the intergalactic warlord named Xenu, nobody's going to join, right? So they'll start you off like telling you that, oh, we have this great communications course. And some people do find value in it because being able to communicate better and more calmly with people, especially, I suppose, in situations where there's conflict is good. But the organization is there to take your money or to exploit your labor, like most cults do. Mm-hmm. You know, if you have money, they just want to charge you for courses. And if you don't have money, they want you to volunteer or get on staff with them and work for them for free. You know, they claim that they're, you know, helping you learn and, you know, there's some kind of modern science of the mind. But so far as I can tell, they just want real estate. And boy, howdy, do they own a lot of real estate.
What kind of things do they own?
Most of downtown Clearwater, Florida.
Damn.
Maybe not most, like 30-40% of the commercial buildings in downtown Clearwater, Florida are owned by the cult of Scientology or like rich members or donors to the cult of Scientology.
And what, they just have like all their members like working there?
I imagine, I haven't looked too deeply into this part, but I imagine they probably just lease it out like a landlord would, right? Like why else would you have all that property? You make money on it.
So you think you think there's like a like ultimate end goal for them that's like super like vile, or do you think it's just like a money grubbing scheme?
I'm not sure because again, like they do their best to obfuscate like what they're doing, right? So we don't know, you know, maybe L. Ron Hubbard's goal was different than the guy David Miscavige who runs it now. Maybe David Miscavige's goal is different. I don't know if there's like an end game. That's good though, right? Because the end game in these organizations usually involves everybody dead. So it's probably better if they don't have an end game.
I mean, do they have like a doomsday? Like, I feel like that's probably the main indicator, right? Is if they're like, oh, doomsday is in fucking 5 years, then that's when they're all going to kill everybody.
No, that's weird because they go the other way. They have their members convinced that they're going to save the world.
Oh, that'll work.
Maybe they are.
They probably, all the people were probably like, oh no, Jonestown, like, oh, we're going to get killed by these cult. And then they're like, wait, what if we join the saviors instead?
I mean, that's so, yeah, they have this idea of like clearing the planet. And that doesn't mean what you would think it might mean of like killing everybody, right? It's they're going to, like the state of clear is where you're in their worldview, is where you're like, your mind is sort of free of what they call like the reactive mind, so that you can think clearly. I mean, it's all bullshit, but they think they're gonna. The idea is to clear the planet so that there's no war, no poverty, no suffering, and all this. But I mean, they're not really doing. I don't think they're doing that.
They ain't making it to that goal.
I don't think they're starting anything now. I mean, if anything, they're just scaring everybody because they're just like, "The fuck are you doing over there?"
Dude, I saw this dumbass clip. This is so unrelated, but like this guy just yells at like, do you know the robot like delivery drones, like the Grubhub ones?
Yeah, the ones that are like the little RC cars, basically.
Yeah, he was yelling at one, and one was outside a Scientology building, and he was like, "No, John, don't go in there. Don't let him get you, John." I was like, bro.
Oh, I think I saw that video. Yeah, the one that was on Hollywood Boulevard or something.
yeah, somewhere there.
Yeah.
It's like the big one, right? The main hub is right there on the strip.
Probably.
They have a few. I guess like their corporate headquarters is in Los Angeles, but they have all that real estate in Clearwater, where they have like the religious retreats and stuff for people. And then in the UK, they have this really beautiful property. It's called St. Hill, this giant mansion. And man, would I like to live there, but not under the current circumstances, mind you. But
now they have to be choosing these places like with mind of the names of the towns and everything that they're purchasing them in. So like you said, Clearwater is like the whole clear mindset. Saint Hill or whatever it was called, like, you know, they have to be doing that. That has to be part of the chess game.
I never thought about that. That could be the case. And then Los Angeles, just because like it's just such a big, massive city,
right?
And it's the city of angels. Also, they like to try to recruit people in entertainment. So of course they're going to have,
and they're doing well.
Who's the famous Tom Hanks? Oh no, saying almost
no,
no Tom Cruise, not Tom Hanks. John Travolta too, but I don't even know if he's still a celebrity.
I think he's struggling pretty bad. Last time I heard, I think it's like dementia or something crazy.
Oh, I didn't know that he wasn't doing well. I mean, I'm sure he's not struggling financially.
He has so many planes, and like I think he has like one of those places like where it's a house connected to a hangar, and you can just leave on your jet whenever you want.
Ah, Taylor Swift.
No, because he flies the plane.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
that's cool. Well,
if you said he's got dementia or something, hopefully he's not flying the plane anymore.
I hope not. I don't know if it was dementia or he's just old and sick. I don't know. Could just be an old guy.
Maybe they cleared his mind.
Just wiped him.
That's so fuck.
You can't say, "Oh shit, what if?"
Nah.
He's like, you got dementia. No, you don't. You just Men in Black.
Here's a fun one. You're from Waco.
I'm not from Waco.
Well, you lived in Waco for a long time.
I did. But that was
were you part of it, or
no? That was way before my time.
Were you one of the Branch Davidians? Is Waco like all everybody knows about Waco is that it's the Branch Davidians and the government seems to have really screwed up and lit the place on fire or something. Is Waco like a cool place other than that? Like, is there cool stuff to do? Like,
it's so when I lived there, I only lived there for about a year, and I didn't go outside. But what I did see of it was a beautiful town, and the whole thing happened outside Waco. Like it was like a few miles outside of it.
Yeah, you said it's like 15 minutes down the road, right? Or something.
from Waco. And then it's like, I mean, but the town's beautiful. I mean, they got like the Lake Waco, and the lake is super, super nice. And then you got like Baylor University down there too. And that's a nice looking campus.
It seemed pretty chill when I was down there, when I went to see your family and stuff. But I don't know, the roads are fucked up, but
yeah,
other than that, that's just Texas. A normal town, really.
Yeah. I feel like
I was
just
oh god.
But no, I think they try to stray away from that whole talk. I don't think it's like bringing up Nazis in Germany, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the people that live in the town didn't really have anything to do with it anyway. No, so
I don't think so.
Maybe not the funnest thing to talk about. Plus, like I don't think people talk about Waco that much anymore anyway.
No, I mean they didn't come out with that show and like not too long ago, and it was a really good show. It was a really good reenactment, I feel like. Or dramatization, however you say the word. But I like the show.
What's one of the things that has been like really grabbing you lately? Like who's on the move type shit?
So for me, the last 2 years, I've been covering like an influence campaign, strangely enough, in the anti-Scientology community. What do you know? They say you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl or whatever. Well, it seems like when people leave this Scientology organization, there's some version of that going on where you can leave the organization, but people bring along a lot of the bullshit with them. A lot of like if they were like maybe in a position of authority, maybe they bring along with them a desire to control other people, or just a lot of their bullshit. And some of them bring along with them, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but Scientology, they really, really hate professionalized mental health, like psychiatry, psychology, any of that. So some of those people bring that along with them. And then they come out of this thing, you're going to be fucked up after you leave Scientology, right? Because first of all, they try not to let you leave, which means that you've been through, maybe a traumatic experience even trying to get out. But then if you still believe some of the stuff and then you won't go get help or whatever, you won't go see a therapist or whatever, you don't really get better, or you don't get better, as fast as maybe somebody else would. And then, if you form communities, maybe with other former Scientologists, then a lot of like the negative, dynamics that happen in the cult just play out in the new community that you formed around supposedly opposing the cult of Scientology.
That's so interesting. I don't know, like the idea that they're just kind of like repeating the cycle just to like have a civil war. I don't know.
It's like
that's what's happening it's like a civil war inside the anti-Scientology, because there's people who aren't like part of the influence campaign. There's people who see it and like know what's, they know what's going on, and they're like, hey, this is bad. There's the central figure of the influence campaign's name, Aaron Smith Levin. And a lot of people, it took them a while to figure out that, it took a lot of them a long time to figure out what he was up to. In fact, when I started reporting on his antics and his, like, basically the influence campaign he's running and the way that he kind of controls a segment of the community, a lot of people accused me of doing Scientology's dirty work for them because I was reporting on a former member who has a big YouTube channel. So I got accused of being a Scientologist, which is like, whatever. All right, sure. I don't care. I don't care if you think I worship a space alien. Read my article. Everything I wrote is correct. This guy, he ran for city council in Clearwater in 2021. But his only thing that he had really was that he was anti-Scientology, right? And like, this is a city. Like, I don't know if you guys know anything about Clearwater. This is a place where like the roads need to be roads, and there needs to be traffic lights, and there's like city business that needs to be done that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the cult of Scientology. And this guy, first of all, wasn't offering the people that were going to vote for him anything other than he didn't like Scientology, and that's fine. I guess another anti-Scientologist was on the council at that time, but he was able to offer other policy for the city, and he was able to do the city council stuff. So one of the things that happened while this Aaron Smith Levin fellow was running for city council is he was like at a bar collecting signatures for his petition to run for office, which is fine. Like, people hang out at the bar. You're not supposed to get shit-faced when you do that, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Well, this woman that he had previously, let's say, sent many unwanted Facebook messages to because she was hot, showed up at the bar, and he started trash talking her and just saying all like stuff that I'm not going to repeat on your podcast to and about her. And then her boyfriend ended up beating him up. And he called the cops, and the cops didn't want to arrest anybody, which is crazy because the cops always want to arrest everybody. But the cops basically said, well, I don't know. That's what you get, I guess. And then after that, like a month later, after he did that dumb thing, he went on this like a internet show run by a guy called Rick Wiles. Some of you people in your audience may or may not be familiar with Rick Wiles, but Rick Wiles was kicked off of everything, off of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit. I think he even eventually got kicked off of Rumble, of all places.
Yeah.
What do you even have to
That's
do?
where you,
Get
that's
kicked
where
off
you
Rumble?
go. Yeah, that's where you go when you're kicked off.
And I could be wrong about Rumble, but I do, because I looked for him there and he's not there. And so I can't imagine him not trying to do his show there. But the guy was like, just very, very openly like racist and anti-Semitic, like on his show. That was the point of his show.
Like a Nick Fuentes type thing.
Yeah, but like a little more polished, I suppose. Like a little more, like you might think that he's respectable in some ways, at least for the first minute or two of his show. But by the time
dropping the N-word, and then you're like, all right.
Well, he wouldn't necessarily do that, right? But he would start, he would say very racist things against, about black people, gay people, particularly Jewish people, because, that's the one that they all hate. Everybody was by the time Aaron had been on there, people were already calling it the Rick Wiles White Power Hour. And Aaron went on. This guy running for office in Clearwater, which is a city, right? So that's not your target audience. This guy, that's the wrong place to go if you're running like in a dense place where people are going to tend to be a little more liberal. So he went on there, and then after he went on there, people were like, "Hey, why did you do that?" And he's like, "I don't know. I used to be in a cult. I don't know anything." And it's like, well, why the fuck are you running for office?
I don't know anything.
Right? I mean, that's essentially what he told the Tampa Bay Times, is that, I just used to be in a cult, and
it happens.
I don't even think the obvious follow-up is, well, then why do you think you should be helping run a city if you don't know anything?
Somebody's got to stop him.
You guys aren't doing anything.
So after that had happened, he ended up like trying to, because he was on YouTube, and he started to realize, I think, that his YouTube channel was reaching like a ceiling because he's just talking about Scientology. So, he lost his race, whatever. Of course he lost his race. What a dumbass. I think there was another incident where he got kicked out of a bar, but I don't know if it was when he was running for office.
God.
I don't know how many bars there are in Clearwater, but this guy's probably been kicked out of about 20% of them. But so there was this he just sort of tried to reach out and tried to like make friends with other YouTubers, sort of. But he wasn't like making friends with other YouTubers who were in like the anti-cult space, or like, maybe former Jehovah's Witnesses to do like cult content. He was like trying to find like basically like shock jock type people because every once in a while, one of these, some douchebag on YouTube or whatever will see a Scientology center and like flip the building off or whatever, like they're doing something.
Like, whoa.
And so he,
That'll stop
like,
him.
you got him. Get him, pal. But he started, cozying up to people. And one of the things he was doing on his channel is he was talking about how bad Scientology was for being anti-gay, which is, the bad thing about the church. But then he had this guy on who was one of the people that you saw yelling at the school board meetings about how the gay and trans teachers were going to turn your kids gay and trans, because the guy was yelling at a Scientology thing.
This guy.
And so it's like, yo, dude, like, what are you incapable of looking? Are you just incapable of taking 5 minutes to look somebody up before you appear on screen with them? And so at that point, I was like, I was like, well, I got to write something about this, because while all this was going on, he was the vice president of a charity.
Oh my!
Charity.
It just keeps going. This guy's got so much lore.
So he was the vice president of a charity called the Aftermath Foundation. It was named after that show that Leah Remini had done about Scientology. And every time he did something stupid, these people were circling the wagons around him instead of like kicking him off the board of their charity. Like they should. I think that the incident where he got in a fight while he was running for office, that the bar should have been like, man, you can't be the vice president of a charity if you're out there wilding out like that. Public face, we're trying to raise money and you're doing what? But no, they
was a Scientologist, and then they were like, oh, okay, it's fine.
Well, that's the problem, is that this whole charity, and like the only qualification to have been on this charity, I think, was used to be a Scientologist. Oh. And so there were no lawyers, there were no people with experience in 501c3 or 501c4, no people with experience in fundraising.
Anything I think there was one to a charity.
Yeah, I think there might have been one lawyer. I don't remember. But everybody, and half of the people were married to each other. It was like, it was like whatever. It was like a good, like the organization, when we looked into the organization, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to find out that, this charity's like embezzling money, or they're, improperly using funds. Nope, squeaky clean. And, but I wrote an article. I was like, hey, these people need to kick this guy off the board of this charity because of what he's doing. And then just immediately people that I knew in the anti-Scientology community stopped talking to me. I was accused of working for the cult of Scientology.
Classic.
But all I did was journalism, and it was good journalism. I'm usually just a troll too, so that was pretty. I was like, this is a damn good article.
This is the one I get in trouble for.
Yeah.
I actually had to do work for this, and everybody mad at me. Well, not everybody's mad at me. Like a lot of people like agreed with me, but it was like the whole thing was like kind of like a boys club, and so it didn't. The few people who were like, yeah, this guy's an asshole, weren't really anybody with any clout or anything. They were just, you know, people I kind of knew. And I thought that was going to be it. And then you guys know that Danny Masterson, there were 2 trials, right? That Danny Masterson was accused of sexual assault, rape, and drugging women.
I don't know this.
So was it because for the 2 different women, or did they, or?
It was a mistrial in the first trial, and they had to redo it.
Okay.
In the second trial, this Aaron Smith 11 guy went to cover the trial as if he's a journalist. I don't even know how he found the trial because he wasn't able to look anything else up ever in the past, but he found the trial. And he had an affair with a woman while he was there. He was married. He claimed he was in an open relationship. That's not really the problem. I'm going to say allegedly, just so that none of us here get sued. Allegedly, he beat this woman up who he was having an affair with while he was there covering a trial of a person who was accused of violence against women.
Classic.
What's wrong with this guy, man?
All the while he was gaining YouTube followers. He was like this, like during this Masterson trial, he was like, people were looking to him for like journalism on the trial. And, you know, right after this incident, someone emails me. They're like, hey, we see that you're the only person who's willing to say a damn bad word about Aaron. Somebody I know got beat up by him at the Danny Masterson trial. And I thought the first time that somebody sent me something, I thought it meant that he got in a bar fight and actually won this time. And I was like, well, good for Aaron. Good for Aaron.
He got one under his belt. Let's go.
The second email I got made it clear that he roughed up a woman he was having an affair with while they were on mushrooms. And
what the fuck?
And so that was maybe summer of 2024. It took all the way until November of 2024 for these fucking people, or 2023, November of 2023 for these people to kick this guy off of this charity, even though they all knew what happened and they all knew about all the other things.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty much just, it's another cult that's forming at this point.
Right.
That's so weird.
So they kick him off and they don't say anything, right? They just put him, like, at the bottom of like the list of board members. They have a little thing at the bottom of the list of board members with his name, and it says, thanks for your service to our charity, whatever. Unceremonious, no problem, right? It could have been just left at that. Anybody would have asked. He would have said, I'm focusing on the YouTube channel, no problem. Nope, he went nuclear on them.
Oh. Well, I mean, what did he do? What did he get up to? A lot of the YouTube videos are gone. I don't know if he made them private or if he deleted them, or I don't think they were deleted for terms of service on YouTube. Not that I know of. He basically sent his, 250,000 followers like to brigade these people that run this charity on their like YouTube channels, social media. Some of them shut down their YouTube channels. Some of them had to shut down all of their social media because they were just relentlessly being harassed. One of the guys, he had recently passed away, Mike Rinder. They were like accusing him of like being involved in like child trafficking for the cult of Scientology. Like it was just like full on like Pizzagate pilled what Jesus. They were doing. And and I guess like there are other funny incidents since then. Like he threw a box at somebody on a live stream. I know that's stupid, but it was funny. But now like all the people that rallied around him when he got removed from this charity. Oh, he started his own charity called the SPTV Foundation. But like everybody really that was ever on that charity is now not on that charity, right? So he's got like this rotating group of people who will put up with him, I think is what's going on. And, but, for the last, maybe
year, maybe since maybe this time last year, maybe more like spring of last year, he's finally been like starting to lose followers, and some of the people that rallied around him are telling him to fuck off, because he had these like a bunch of like, he had a lot of like women who used to be in Scientology who he like told to get YouTube channels, because I don't know, I guess that's what you do the first thing when you leave a cult. Don't get therapy, don't spend time with your family, immediately become a public figure. But he did that, and he bought equipment for them and boosted their channels. And I think he did that not to help them, but for them to then be his attack dogs.
Right. To be indebted to him.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that doesn't sound like any cult I've ever heard of.
Classic.
But now they all hate him too. So not all of them, but enough of them do. He's got like one left, and she's not very effective, let's say. She's very transparently grifting, trying to make money, and very transparently will just defend whatever this guy does. So anyone who was effective and like a decent public communicator or whatever jumped ship on this guy.
Right. Because they actually think. She probably doesn't think that much.
Maybe, or you know, maybe I think she's also making money. I think she's making good, like YouTube. She's probably making more than I am, like on her content. All she has to do is go live and defend this guy. And and the other thing they were all doing, and I think most of them quit, they acted like their YouTube channel was like a cult recovery space in some kind of ways. Like it was like that they were doing, I wouldn't say that they were saying they were doing mental health work, but they were definitely saying that, like, you know, this is a safe place for people with trauma and whatnot. Right. And then really what it was a safe place for drama and shit talking about people. The craziest thing about all this is I've been reporting on this. I've had, you know, the only videos I can get anybody to ever watch of mine on YouTube. I don't know why nobody will watch my YouTube channel, but the only videos I can ever get of people to watch me on YouTube are me talking about this. But for whatever reason, this guy keeps my name out of his mouth. He has talked about everyone. He talked about this one lady who had 9 followers on Substack one time because she wrote an article about him. And, you know, I'm not sure why. One of the people, this woman, Nora, challenged me to go on her YouTube channel. And I was like, challenge me? I'm just going to go on your YouTube channel and talk to you. What do you mean challenge me? What are you going to do? You know, like stab me? And then she didn't show up to her own channel. So we started calling her No Show Nora because her channel was called Oh No Nora. So we call her No Show Nora. Turns out that this isn't, you know, there's so much gossip. These people gossip so much that it's so easy to find out what's going on. Right. It turns out that he told her that I was dangerous and that I shouldn't. That she should, he was right.
Yeah. Dangerous.
He was right because she had someone else on and just yelled at them the whole time and like scolded them basically for like criticizing like what she and Aaron were doing. And that wouldn't have really worked with me because I broadcast for a living. Right. And so I've dealt with all kinds of different hostile individuals and crazy people over the course of this. And but yeah, then that lady, she hates him the most now, and he I guess he thinks he's suing her. I don't know for what. I don't think it's illegal to talk shit about somebody on YouTube.
If it is, everyone's screwed.
Well, I think isn't that like the Scientology strat of like,
yeah,
they just want to tie you down in court and cost you money, essentially, right?
Yeah, and because he has, you know, his channel is dying. Like he's not losing followers, right? But you can tell, like, just by looking at the view count, right? That the people, you know, do you ever really go and unfollow anyone anywhere? Probably not, right? Somebody has to like. I don't remember the last time I unfollowed anything because like you don't see what you follow on any of these platforms anyway. So who cares, right? They just show you like a picture of a shrimp Jesus and somebody goes, why is this image not trending? And I'm like, it is. Stop with the shrimp Jesus.
It's like this fried my rice.
But yeah, I guess he's suing her. Or no, wait a minute. His charity is suing her because she said that the charity is a fraud, which I think the charity might be a fraud, but I don't think he understands these things because that's her opinion.
Right.
she didn't say that the charity has committed fraud, which is a different, even then that could be your opinion.
Yeah. Slanders. I feel like slanders are very like weird.
It's hard. It's very difficult, especially if both parties are a public figure. Man, you got to basically say that this person was in jail for like molesting all the kids in their neighborhood or something. And then people got to believe you. Like, otherwise it's not going anywhere. And that's good, actually, right? We should be able to criticize each other, and even harshly, right. Even, you know, and if someone's harassing you, that's different. But if this is all playing out on YouTube, no one's harassing anyone because you could just not be a public figure anymore. So that's the thing I've been covering. Oh, and in the middle of it is a grifter who has a non-proven PTSD treatment that he's hucking to these people at $5,000 per session, and sometimes it takes 3 sessions a year for several years.
Fairly reasonable.
Maybe I got to try that. Maybe it'll help.
And it's they're shooting, like, you know, I think it's a chemical similar to what's in an epidural. They're injecting that into your spine, like at the base of your neck. So it seems safe too, actually.
Just full-blown paralysis.
Are they doctors?
I think there's one. So there's a couple clinics that do this. The last article I wrote, actually, I published this guy that's selling this. I think he's skimming money off the top. I think he's, I'm sorry, maybe it's an affiliate program. What are you I'm not skimming. It's an affiliate program. Most medical treatments don't have an affiliate program, and I don't know this for sure, but I don't think there's any other incentive for him to go around like trying to get everybody to do this if there's no money in it.
Right.
Because the guy's like a longtime grifter. He's like, calls himself like the iconist. He was like telling people some crap about, before this, he was telling people some crap about some business strategy that he has. It's just like grift city with this guy. And so this is probably a grift. So he went on this before No Show Nora didn't show up for me. And then before No Show Nora stopped talking to this Aaron Smith Levin guy, he went on her show and challenged the whole world to a debate about the efficacy of these shots.
The whole world?
And yeah, anybody. So I hit him. He was like, he hit me up on Instagram, and I'm like, what? Don't you have an email address? And so I hit him up on Instagram. I'm like, hey, I'd like to either go on your channel or have you on mine to talk about the claims you're making about this treatment that seems like that it's not for this. And I said, do you have an email address? And then it just descended into the wildest conversation I've ever had. And this guy is they say like dumb as a box of rocks.
Yeah.
This guy's as dumb as a box of rocks without any rocks in it. And so I tried to get him on to talk to him, and he then it devolved to where he was like trying to get me to go have drinks with him and his friends or something. And I was like, this is not what I want. I'm like, I'm trying to interview you, man. And so time went by, and I was like, and I thought for a while, I was like, well, it's people should see this because he's definitely dodging me. I'm like, but it's DMs. I'm like, it's on fucking Instagram. And then I was like, well, he doesn't seem to be doing this anymore. Like, he seems to have maybe got the bag and left. And I'm like, well, maybe this is just mean to somebody who's mind expandingly stupid. So I left it alone, didn't publish it. And a few weeks ago, I found out that he's operating behind the scenes to try to get everybody to do these shots after they leave leave the cult. Now he was giving people a 10% discount coupon or some shit. And I'm like, nope. You're in the money on this, man. So I was like, I got to publish. So I published it. And that's the last thing I published on this. So that's where I've been at for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. I do my other stuff. We have a local news show. I suppose the content there has suffered due to me being at the bottom of this rabbit hole. We do a show making fun of the intellectual dark web. I suppose the content there has suffered as a result of me being down this rabbit hole. And then we do a news show on Sunday. And I suppose the content there has suffered as a result of me being at the bottom of this rabbit hole.
I think it's a good rabbit hole to go down. I've never heard of anybody exploring this. I didn't even know there was like this fractured Civil War shit going on. That's pretty cool.
No, nobody really knows about it because, like, why would you?
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason I know about it is because I mean, I'm interested in science. I've always been interested in Scientology and cults. In like 2004, my friend who I was throwing raves with and stuff, all of a sudden didn't want to throw raves anymore. And it turned out, I was like, oh, her mom just died. I'm like, she's sad, like whatever. This is fine. And I found out her mom had been a Scientologist and she joined Scientology after her mom died because she was distressed and they were like, oh shit. She'd gotten a bunch of money from her mom. She'd gotten the money from her mom that Scientology didn't get. And they're like, oh, well, we're not having any of that. You need to give that to us, young lady. You need to join our cult.
Dear God.
And then she fucked off to Clearwater and nobody saw her again. So I was like, now I have to learn everything I could ever possibly learn about this cult. I was like, you took my business partner away from me. So that's why that's how I ended up knowing, like, I got to know some of the people involved. Like, I've had some of the journalists, some of the former Scientologists, like on my podcast to talk about the cult. And then then in 2001, my coverage just switched because this guy got so popular and so big. And they had this rule basically that it was like verboten to talk about politics in any way in their community. And I was like, well, that's why this guy gets away with being abusive to women and going on white supremacist shows, because to say anything about it, well, now we're talking politics and that's not okay. I'm like, so that's interesting. And it brought up this video I'd seen before by a sociologist. The channel is Innuendo Studios, and it was like how to radicalize a normie. And it talked about these spaces where, they're like, oh, no politics, but then people do things like that are overtly political. But then if you talk about them, that's talking about it is what the political thing, not the going on the white supremacist show or whatever. And so I guess that's maybe why I ended up being the one covering this, because I clocked it from like the beginning. I was like, I know what this is. Mm-hmm. I know what's happening here. I had no idea it was going to go as turbo as it did. It went completely turbo, where people were doxing each other. Like the things I told you, I left out so much when I explained what was going on. I wrote an article, and the copy editors that I had were like, you can't put 10,000 words on your blog about this. We gotta trim this out, man. He's like, this whole part about the Scientology counterintelligence organization operating as if it's COINTELPRO. They're like, that's great, but what you need to do is write a book about that, because you can't put a book in the middle of your blog post. So, yeah, I mean, it's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. And I feel bad for people now if they are leaving the cult of Scientology, because there's nowhere for them to land, right?
Yeah. Not really.
If they don't have family and friends, what do they find? They find a shit show. They find a shit show online where everybody, they have no idea about that any of this has been happening if they get out. And so they land in this, maybe they land on Reddit or whatever, and they don't really see it so much on Reddit because it's all happening on YouTube, but they eventually find out. And then there's like nothing there for them, because there's two charities, one of which might be a money laundering operation, but then the other one, the original charity, their board is turned over a couple times because of all this stuff. And so there's like, you get out of there and you're like, well, if you have even kind of halfway decent head on your shoulders, you're like, there's no one here for me to trust. All these people suck. And so now you're if you don't have family, if you don't have friends, you're out there like on your own now without a real community to support you. And it's all because one guy's ego, and one guy couldn't apologize for his bad behavior, accept responsibility for what he was doing. And instead he decided to go nuclear on people. And it's just really bad. I jokingly say that right now it might be better for people to just join Scientology than for them to join any of these communities opposing it.
Kind of seems like it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, once you leave that, you definitely have like that instinct to search out for somebody who's been through something similar, and then you run it right into the same thing, basically. Like, once you leave a cult, I think that's a real thing. I don't know if it's true or what I'm about to say, but I think if you leave a cult, you're more likely to join another.
Or maybe not a cult, but because like this doesn't really operate like a cult, right? It's like if you've seen that movie Mean Girls. Mm-hmm. It's like if those people started a cult is what's going on here.
Gossip Girls.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But it seems like this has all run its course, though, or at least mostly run its course. But I don't think that means that there's going to be like a good place for, people leaving this cult to land, because I think that this community has basically destroyed itself.
Right.
It's now like balkanized and factioned off. Like, I never expected that I'd look down at my, when I'm on Twitch, look down maybe when it's popping and there's a lot of people in there, and 20% of them are refugees from an anti-cult community because they don't want to be part of the anti-cult community anymore. And now they want to be part of my crazy community where we don't just cover, that it's not, most of it's not great, right? And the stuff that we're talking about, but they're like, oh, everybody here is so nice and people aren't arguing with each other and gossiping behind each other's backs. And I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe they are. I'm like, but it doesn't seem like it. And it's just, I think it's good that this is running its course, but it is sad for, I think, people who left, because before, like the anti-Scientology community, like any community, had its problems. They're problems of internet organizing, basically. But that's different than now. Now the problems are that people like legitimately hate each other and they've never met, and that's crazy. You're recording on OBS as well, I presume?
I'm recording like our face cam. But I mean, the audio is fine.
Okay. That's fine.
So that's all that matters to me. I mean, I'm glad we have the video now, but I don't know how Zoom recording works. I don't know if it like does it even though starting now, or if it does it through the whole call, but I guess we'll see when.
Probably.
It starts recording as soon as you tell it to start recording.
So that sucks a little bit, but I mean, again, we got the audio, so
that'll work.
Whatever. Leave this part in too, so that people know you're pro podcasters.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I mean, they'll figure it out when the first half is just going to be your logo. So
that's fine. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
Also, like, you guys are like on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff, right? Yeah, probably where most of your traffic comes from.
Actually, it's the opposite. Most of the traffic is on YouTube. Surprisingly.
Oh, that's crazy. Most. I mean, one of my podcasts like charts sometimes, like on iTunes.
It might. I know. Last time I checked on iTunes, like 1, maybe 2 plays. And it's just from some random dude in China.
I think it's more to do with the variation of the content, right? Yours is more
direct.
How do you?
Maybe.
I don't know. You know what I mean, though.
And
whatever.
We started a podcast about the intellectual dark web when that stuff was like real hot too. So that probably really helped.
Yeah, I mean, what even is that?
That's another loosely affiliated group of people online that sometimes operates like a cult. Actually.
Mm. What do you think is one of the more like dangerous ones out there right now that people don't really know about?
Oh, there's this, and it's just hitting. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. The Zizians, Zizian.
Nope.
Well, I encourage everybody to look that up, because that's what I'm doing after our recording here, is trying to do a deep dive and figure out what's going on with that. So that's the next thing I'm going to look into. Hopefully there's good reporting on it. And by good reporting, I don't mean like TikTok videos about why you should be afraid of it, because that's a moral panic. And that's very different than, I'm hoping to find like local news reports about some of the stuff that I've heard about, stuff like that. Just like, I think it's maybe not so important to name specific communities as to like arm people with resources and sort of models by which to understand that what it might look like if they're in a community where there's like undue influence or more control or demand than there really should be, right? Because some of these multi-level marketing schemes where they're selling products, makeup, or the classic one's Amway, but some of these like influencer communities where they're selling either supplements or beauty products or whatever, sometimes they end up acting culty and controlling their members and placing unreasonable demands on the membership and telling people, oh, you just have to buy more of this product so that you can, I don't know, never sell it or something. But so I think it's more important for people to maybe, if you're in an online community or any kind of community and you're like, well, they're asking an awful lot of me, or I'm being awful nosy, why do they need to know this? Or
be aware of the threat before it's too late.
Yeah, just when people are, when your in group is asking maybe more of you than a spouse or a parent, or, you know, maybe if it's requests, maybe than your son would ask for you, or your son or your daughter might ask, right? Might be like little red flags. Like, would a normal friend group do these things? And obviously there's organizations you can join where that's what you sign up for, like the fucking Peace Corps, right?
Right.
Well, your friends don't ask you to go build a house somewhere in Africa. You join the Peace Corps to go build people houses in Africa or whatever it is, right? So that's different. But, you know, if you're like, I thought we were, you know, just an example. I don't know. I thought we were let's just say a bicycling club, and then all of a sudden you have to start eating the same food as other people, or you have to go to the events, or like it could be anything really where you're asked to do things that are like sort of outside of the scope of what you thought you were doing, and there's like pressure on you, and there's even maybe, and not just the carrot, like, oh, you should do this to get this, but maybe there's the stick where, well, I don't know if your friends are still going to talk to you if you stop doing this, that, or the other thing. So it's, you know, I don't think there's another Scientology coming. I think it's going to be, I think what people need to be more afraid of is the anti-Scientology cult that I talked about. Not that specifically, but the way that operated in some ways, because everybody's online all day, and there's just really fewer ways for you to start a cult in a building somewhere now. It's expensive, right? You can't, like, who has the time to recruit members in the real world and then go get a compound and, I don't know, make people only drink raw milk, or only, I don't know what they would make you do. Only eat rutabagas or whatever kind of, like, who has the time? It's so much easier to do a version of that on the internet and suck people in.
Well, there was like, I watched a video documentary about like the one 4chan group that's like convincing young men to take, what the fuck is it called? They're like turning them trans. Not like turning them trans, but like they're convincing them to like do like artificial,
like take hormones.
Yeah, take hormones like in like a bathtub in their home.
In a bathtub?
Oh, they're making,
it's like
are they telling you to make the hormones?
They make their own hormones and like ship.
Oh,
them
that
out
sounds safe.
Yeah, no, it's fucked. But like, I don't know, shit like that is
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like, first of all, that could kill you. You know, we have to remind everybody, don't make your own drugs.
Yeah.
And don't do drugs that someone else may. I don't know. I mean, I've done ecstasy before, so maybe I'm the wrong person. I might still do ecstasy if the party's good enough. But yeah, like 4chan's a weird place to get medical advice anyway. But like the idea that instead of like going to doctors, that you should just DIY. This is so insane.
I think that it was more of a process of like, they kind of like not hypnotize them, but like they kind of break down their willpower.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm guessing, because 4chan, I'm guessing we're talking about a lot of young men who are maybe having other problems.
Yeah. I mean, you know how 4chan is. It's basically its own, like, each board is basically its own cult anyway.
Yeah. In a way. You know, I wonder, and I don't know, I wonder if this came out of like the manosphere, like men's rights activists, where because of the demographic on 4chan, I wonder if they're like telling these young men maybe who are having a hard time dating and mating that this is going to make it easier for you to date or mate.
I forget, it was so long ago that I saw this, but I in my brain is telling me that it was like some people were like pretending to be women. And then they were like, we're going to, quote unquote, because this is kind of gross to me, but we're going to sissify all these cis men.
Oh, wait, are you talking about the thing they're calling sissy hypno?
So, yeah, essentially. But it's working. Yeah. Like they're selling them hormones and they're taking it type of thing. It's weird.
Yeah. It man, folks, just go to the doctor if you need to go to the doctor.
Right.
Just go to and I think this might be another one of those things where, you know, it's like, this is downstream, maybe even from, you know, we don't live in a society where everybody has access to medical care. And so this may be sort of, and this doesn't sound like it's necessarily like because of that, but it sounds like one of the, from what little you've told me and from what I've, put together in my head about it, it sounds like this is probably something easier to do in America than say Canada, where people have healthcare.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's more of like it seems like more of a bullying, break them down situation until they do whatever you say.
Sounds like a troll gone wrong. Where it's just like,
yeah, but
put your computer in the microwave for as long as you can. That'll get rid of the virus.
Well, that's how, I mean, there was always the 4chan posts that were like, this is how you make homemade crystals. And then it makes chlorine gas in your house. But
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do any amateur chemistry. If you mix any chemicals, do it outside. Don't mix chemicals. I don't know. Maybe if you have a chemistry set you had when you were a kid, but follow the instructions. They had some, like, I don't know. It was funny. We found a chemistry set from when I was a kid, when I was helping my parents, like they're old and a bunch of shit in the rafters at their house. We found a chemistry set, and my dad's a chemist, and he was like, I can't believe they had this in your chemistry set when you were 6.
What?
He's like, I forget what the compounds were. He's like, this doesn't seem like it was safe at all. He's like, what were we? He's like, why would you have this? He's like, you could have killed yourself. And I'm like, Dad, they're all unopened. I never played with the chemistry set.
It's like bleach and Windex.
Oh man. I wonder how many kids are like fucked up because they made something with their chemistry set and drank it,
Oh my God. That's true.
I should drink this glow stick.
I mean,
that it's not good for you necessarily, but those are actually fairly safe because you have no idea. Like at underground parties, people would like chew on them and stuff, and you'd see people with the glow stick stuff all over their face, and you'd be like, "Did that person paint their face, or is that a glow stick that they exploded with by chewing on it because they're rolling
I think
their
I
face?"
broke one on my skin one time when I was a kid. I was like, "Am I going to die?"
I got terrified because I think there was like that. I think parents. It was one of those things that parents just tell you so that you won't do it. But I was like, oh my God, there's fiberglass in this. It's going to go into my bloodstream. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, and when in reality, your parents know that it's perfectly safe. They just don't want to clean up after that shit.
Hell yeah.
But little they know is I was biting out the tips of those fucking glow sticks and swinging them around so I can get that shit everywhere.
It's art, Mom. You don't get it.
Just take a picture real quick. We have like 5 minutes before this goes away.
I don't know. What's some more culty? Do you do conspiracies too? Like what do you think happened with JFK? I think the CIA killed him.
They're releasing that information. Just wait.
They're always just about to release that, like how Jesus is coming back. Get out of here. I don't know.
It's real.
I don't know what happened to JFK.
Well, the thing that I saw was like, the one thing that makes me super suspicious of the CIA was like, the CIA were the ones who investigated it. And then they had one copy of the page of what happened. And then right when the trial was happening, they mysteriously lost the one copy of it. And I was like, that's just fucking there's no way a government agency operates like that. Like,
I don't know. I just know that if the CIA tells you something, that they're probably lying, because that's their job. They're professional liars. Like I remember there was this ad that was on Twitter for the CIA was like, oh, we hire people with anxiety and, all of these different, mental problems. And people were like, oh, the CIA is like going to lose all this stuff. And I'm like, you believe what the fucking CIA is telling you on Twitter? I was like, what kind of dumbass are you? This is why they're not going to tell you this. I mean, why are they, who knows why they put this ad out? What do you mean? What are they just telling everybody who they're hiring?
Yeah. They'll put you in a study, make you sell crack to somebody.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about there? Yeah. They're not. Yeah. This isn't real. You all of a sudden now you believe the government because they told you that they're doing something stupid. Like the old conspiracy theories, I think, are more fun. Like JFK. I mean, I know a man died, right? But JFK and like the moon landing stuff is like more fun. Like these, like I really like cryptids. Like we do conspiracy bingo on Fridays on the stream, and instead of watching like a variety of fucking people who think there's like children being trafficked in tunnels, or people drinking their own piss, or who think that there's snake venom in the water that caused COVID. Every once in a while, we'll do like UFOs and cryptids. We did that last night, and it's way more fun. And I am in a much better mood after that ends.
Much more lighthearted, huh?
Yeah.
How does the bingo work?
Oh, I mean, if you're in my Twitch chat and you hit !bingo, it gives you a link to a bingo card, and you can play bingo during the show.
That's pretty cool.
So do you just go through like the most recent like cryptid UFO videos that are popping up?
So for UFO and cryptid night, what I do is usually I just wait until the people in my Discord have provided me with enough UFO and cryptid videos to fill, maybe up to 5 hours of streaming. So that's like maybe 2.5, 3 hours of video. And then we'll do cryptid night. But the bingo card is not set up for that. The bingo card is set up for the normal show. So it's got like, it's got like jargon and buzzwords related to like more modern conspiracies, more stuff that you might see more of, like chemtrails or flat earth or
5G.
5G. Yeah. Now we're up. 6G is coming soon. 6G is coming soon.
That one's going to melt our brains probably if we believe them.
Well, it's all given to you. These, the Aussies always have really good slang, and they call these people cookers, and it's very funny that they call them cookers, right? Because it's really useful, because you could be like, oh, you mean, like, I immediately was like, oh, do you mean that they cooked their brain? And they're like, well, I don't know, I don't know, mate. But yeah, that sounds about right. So now we talk about people putting their brains in sous vide machines and air frying their brain. And so, the conspiracy theory used to be a lot of fun, like back in like the heyday of like Art Bell and Coast to Coast. And because it was like, if somebody believed in conspiracy theories, there wasn't necessarily all this other baggage that came along with it. A lot of times, like today, like you run into like a truther, and they're like, "Oh, 9/11 was an inside job." I'm like, "Oh, I don't necessarily think so. I think the government sure used as an excuse to go invade a country that didn't do nothing to us, but I'm not sure that I'm pretty sure that those planes were hijacked." And like, we're holograms, and I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. I'm like, that's fine. Crazy. That's fine. Do you have any weed? Right? Like, the person inevitably, if that's the only conspiracy theory they believe, they have some weed, and they're probably pretty cool. But now, like, you have this stuff where people are like, oh, you have this people telling people to like age and drink their own urine because it'll like make it so they don't have to go to the doctor. And well,
this is a good one for me.
Well, like, this is what I'm saying is that like now it's, before the stuff was like, cryptids, UFOs, maybe 9/11, the moon landing and, JFK. And it was all like, maybe it was all wrong. And maybe it was like a sign of like flawed thinking. And maybe it was a sign that people might be gullible in certain ways. But it wasn't like we were talking about 5G. Remember when people were lighting phone towers on fire?
Yeah.
And buying.
Yeah, that's where we are now. Now it's explosive.
There was the one video of the lady who was like complaining for like 2 hours to the workers that they were putting a 5G tower up. Do you remember that?
Very. Not.
She was like yelling at some construction workers like, it's gonna melt our brains. It's gonna give us cancer. And they're like,
lady, your brain is already melted.
We're just here to build the tower, ma'am.
It's funny you mentioned that. We've been this woman. We now call her a former chemtrail activist. Her name calls it Madison. Well, it's because I think she claims that all her accounts got hacked, but I think she just forgot all her passwords. And probably doesn't have access to her email address. In fact, I know she doesn't have access to her email address because her email address was at a domain that I now own because she didn't pay the bill on.
Easy. Nice, good shit.
Now it points to a page about her on my wiki, which is fun. By the way, for anybody listening, plexwiki.xyz if you want to check out my wiki. Shout out to Avalon of Babylon and Time for Tinfoil, and who else has been working on that lately? And people from my chat have been working on it lately. So it's a catalog. But we have like this huge. She keeps getting her accounts deleted. Like she deletes her own accounts when she gets mad that the trolls. She calls them the trolls, but I mean, they're making fun of her was like a spectator sport for a while.
Just people who are right, or the trolls.
We have this giant archive of once the first couple times she started deleting all her stuff. Not just us, but like there's a Facebook group that we stole from someone like her because it's easy to trick maybe people that believe in chemtrails. But that group, they've been archiving, like every time she makes like a video, somebody just downloads it and like dumps it into a shared Google Drive file, a folder that we all have now. So I think like we clearly have more of her content than she does because she keeps deleting it all. But so much of it is her. She called some, like, so she lives in Virginia Beach, and I don't know if you know that there's a giant naval air station out there. It's Oceania Naval Air. It's like I think it might be the biggest air station on the East Coast.
I believe that's true.
And I think it's one of the biggest air bases in the world. And that's so right. She's absolutely shocked and stunned that there are a lot of contrails around there.
What's happening?
Why are there so many planes here?
But she has called the FBI. She called the FBI to report a Facebook page that called itself Captain Carl the Chemtrail Pilot. And she complained to the FBI that this Facebook page was saying dimmer skies are safer skies. And the FBI, you couldn't see the FBI agent, but you could kind of, just through the person, the tone of voice, you could kind of see the guy, right? You could see him in your mind's eye. He was clearly befuddled when she called.
Wait, is that a phone log that you have access to somehow?
I have it somewhere.
That is fucking.
Oh my God.
I want to hear that call. Because
she was going around recording all these. She was calling government agencies and recording them without their permission. She called the fucking CIA and recorded them, dude. I'm like, if you were worthwhile, or if you even were raised to the point of slightly annoying them, they might disappear you. That's the CIA. Madison who? But she's called news stations. She's called the local police department. She was calling like all these lawyers to try to sue us for making fun of her, which that was really funny because she kept like saying, "Oh, I can't say their name. I don't want to give them any publicity." And the lawyers were like, "What?" And they didn't know that she was recording the call to the lawyer to put on her YouTube channel, right?
Oh no.
So it was obviously she never sued anybody, including me. But yeah, we've had a lot of fun. There's this guy, Dan Badondi, who used to work for InfoWars. We have his website, danbadondi.com. We didn't even know that he hadn't paid his bill until because we were making fun of him, talking about how his website looked like it was like pre-GeoCities and how it was like Web 0.5 because it was all really ugly. And then I guess it all went down and he started like going around like accusing me and one of my co-hosts of hacking his stuff. And then we were like, well, we didn't hack his stuff. He doesn't have access to his domain. Let's go on to Namecheap. And we just typed in danbadondi.com and it was on sale for $5.
$5. Dude, we got to start doing shit like that. That's so funny.
Mine now. So
that's so worth it for $5.
It says on the site that we put up that all Hamburglar Dan has to do is call in and ask for his website back, and we'll give it back to him. But he hasn't done that.
This time for $6 because you got to make a profit.
True.
I think we paid for. It was like we got it like 4 years ago. I think we paid for 10 years. I'll give it to him. I don't care. He doesn't need to. I don't want him to try to. I don't want this dumb motherfucker trying to figure out PayPal anyway. Just to send me $30. This guy, but I mean, this, I don't even know why, but somebody made a picture of this Dan Badondi guy as the Hamburglar, and it just caught on, and now everybody calls him Hamburglar Dan. I don't know why.
It works.
It's very funny, but like this is all like, kind of dumb stuff this is all older stuff that we used to do. We used to fuck with Madison Star Moon. We used to go around trying to steal people's domains. And after a while of like kind of trolling dumb fucks, I started to realize that like through this process, I've actually learned quite a few things about the creators in this space and how their communities operate. I was like, well, maybe just maybe I should start taking this a little more seriously. And that sucked. But that sucked because now I'm like a broke journalist instead of what I was doing before. But
hey man,
I don't know. It's fun.
Never too late to keep on doing it.
True. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to go back to just being a troll. I have bills to pay, and I don't want to get my Twitch channel removed or anything like that. And like whatever, I'm not worried about my content doing that. But if I started engaging in off screen antics that were stealing people's web pages and stuff, I could see where that would eventually end up.
I mean, if they spam report you for it, because they'll off stream behavior or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't really get like we're luckily enough, like Twitch is pretty good. Like I remember, like right not long after we started, we ended up at a meeting with the terms of service or the TOS people at Twitch with some other creators. We ended up on a list that was like human review before like automatic removal because we're covering like controversial stuff, and that to that point, because of my like writing and the previous podcasts, we had a fairly good track record for not lying to people. So
that's
I
good.
figure.
I'm glad Twitch still has some barricades like that.
Yeah. You get it wrong sometimes, but that's different than like constantly lying to people,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's weird on Twitch though, because like, I think a lot of people do just like lie. Obviously, I mean that's what we do. We just fucking lie.
We don't lie on purpose. We're just
we
wrong.
just don't know. We don't present it as fact either, so I guess that counts. But like, I think as long as they make them enough money, they're kind of like, all right, dude, do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to monetize cynicism. If your community is a bunch of cynics, they're not going to give you any money. They're like, wait a minute, what if this guy's grifting? Wait a minute, hold on. He's calling everybody else a grifter while he's here. Like, while his Twitch channel looks like a casino, and there's like 9 different ways for me to spend money here. He's trying to sell me this hat every day. Buy this hat, folks. Buy this hat.
I want it so bad. It's actually.
That is actually
cool
genius marketing. I love that.
So actually, you can't get these anymore. The pink on black and the black on pink are gone. But there's other colors. These were limited edition for the end of the year.
Still want one. I mean, it's so funny. I want the beanie. Do you still have the beanie that in stock?
Yeah, I still have the beanie.
Good.
So what's really funny is we made these because there's this guy Matt Landman. We have some history with him too, but I won't get too much into it. He sells literal clothing that's supposed to block the 5G. He sells an evening gown on his website that blocks the 5G.
But just that night.
And I'm just like, if you got to go out dancing, but you also got to make sure that, I don't know, the DJ's phone doesn't, I don't know, actually. Because like the problem with these anti-5G pieces of clothing is, right, they only cover certain parts of your body. What are you going to, is it going to be like a Tyvek suit or something that you end up with every square inch of your body covered by this stuff?
And is it made out of something different, or is it just
100% cotton?
It claims that it's got like silver thread in it. But like for it to have any like significant amount of silver in it, it wouldn't be very comfortable.
Right.
Or
you don't think of metallic
body armor
or machine.
Yeah, you don't think of metallic thread when you think of a comfortable hat or a dress, right? So, but I mean, the stuff is expensive that this guy sells. I mean, like the beanie, I think one of the beanies was $125.
for a beanie too. By the way, that's like 5% of the radio waves are getting stopped.
But it's the important part.
Yeah,
it's true. True. All right, fair enough.
they could never come in this way.
He should have done a face mask during COVID. That would have really sold.
True.
Oh, no. During COVID, if you could imagine, this guy said that the mask was trapping all of your bacteria.
Wow, classic.
And so, of course, he couldn't sell a mask. Oh, and the chemtrail people, they all used to wear masks, right? Because they were like, oh, I won't breathe in the fucking aluminum and barium and strontium or whatever.
Now
and
all
the
of a sudden I
chemtrails
can't breathe.
now all of a sudden they're not wearing masks. And it's like, well, what, did they stop the chemtrails now? Or do you still believe in chemtrails?
Well, I can't believe COVID stopped chemtrail.
It's the chemtrails people they're another group of that people that they all hate each other now. They used to all be homies, like online homies, right? Now they all hate each other because what happened with them, just real short, is like when QAnon started getting big, right? Like I think 2018, 2019, QAnon started getting real big in conspiracy theory spaces, and that sucked up all the eyeballs. And so the chemtrails people, I guess they were too stupid for QAnon. I don't know if that's even the right thing to say.
I think that's accurate, though, probably.
Right. But so what happened was all the cookers or whatever, all their audience got sucked into these QAnon creators, and so there was much fewer eyeballs left for them. And so instead of them thinking, well, maybe the time for this is past and I should change my content, or some of them broadened out all the way to 5G, like you were talking about.
Woo.
So
expanded horizons.
But they all started accusing each other of being the reason that nobody was watching their fucking stuff anymore.
Oh my fuck!
It wasn't that like a giant satanic panic meta conspiracy had taken over the entire space. It was that fucking Jim Lee of Climate Viewer was gatekeeping and not letting anybody see Raphael O'Neil from NOLA Butterfly's fucking channel or whatever. It was all real dumb, and it was fun to watch. Actually, very fun to watch.
It's just even dumber now that I think about it more. It's just like, if they're so scared of 5G, how are they recording and uploading their content?
That too.
Always from their phone.
Yep.
Because it's always vertical. So you know where it's from. The video's vertical. You know where that's from.
They're on like the other side of the room. They got their silver lining beekeeper outfit on.
The lead apron from taking x-rays. So like, guys, I'm at risk recording this right now. But
that's what the one lady, Madison Star Moon, would say. She'd go up to like a tower. I have no idea what kind of communications tower it was, but she was calling them. She called one of them a death ray, which was really weird because I don't know if she saw it shoot somebody. But the obvious occurs to us. It's like, well, why are you there? Why are you standing there? And she eventually acknowledged it because she claims that she doesn't. She claims that she doesn't, but she's
immune.
She's in my Discord. She's in my Discord. She listens to us. We know because she has us all blocked, but somehow always knows what we're up to. So she's a fan
on the alt account. Typical.
But she eventually, she said, "Oh, I'm doing this at great risk to myself. You guys better appreciate what I'm doing out here." And like the one comment on her video, because all of her fans, like, I don't know, the last time she deleted her account, they didn't find her again this time. One comment was like, "Thank you for your hard work. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji."
That's her on an alt account, man. That's not. She's just gassing herself up.
Thank you.
If some of this stuff wasn't funny, I'd have had like a pretty nasty mental health crisis by this time trying to cover all this stuff. But like some of it's funny, right? Like the back to the original thing with Aaron Smith Levin, the time that he threw an Amazon box at a security guard was very funny. There was
you said that was on a stream, on a live stream?
On live stream.
Is there a clip of that?
Is there any context?
There's a link to it. There's a link to it with a timestamp in the second article that I wrote. Yeah, because I said, and I even put, I wasn't going to include this, and because I actually included it after my copy editor said, "Okay, I'll publish your article." I said, "Haha, I'm gonna put another 500 words in here." But yeah, it was like, I wasn't going to include this, but this is fucking funny, and there is a link to it. Like the short version of that story is sometimes like. And it happens like whatever. It's an Amazon package just ends up like on the side of the road, right? Like maybe it was on somebody's porch, or the wind blew it away, or somebody maybe took it from their porch and set it next to their car and forgot it, because maybe they were going to take it with them and they just forgot it on the curb, or things happen. You know how many Amazon packages are out there? So this one lady was walking her dog and she found this Amazon package. And she was just kind of looking at it, trying to figure out where to take it. And this guy and his two friends were live streaming, go up, "Oh, what's up with that package?" And she's like, oh, it seems to be addressed to this building. So this asshole points his phone at it, doxes this fucking person who probably a victim of Scientology, their whole mailing address on the package with their full name, and then goes like onto the property of this cult that he does this YouTube channel where he's like, they know who he is, right? And so they're like, sir, you need to leave. And he's like, oh, I'm just trying to deliver this box. And they're like, the security guard, who I don't think was a Scientologist, seemed a little befuddled. Because you're not an Amazon delivery. What do you mean? So instead of just putting, if I found a box like that, I'd just put it up. I'd find if there wasn't a lobby or whatever, I'd find like an outward facing door that I thought opened or that people went through and just lean the box up against the door. No, he walks up to the security guard and the security guard's like, hey, get off the property. And he throws the box in his own sunglasses at the security guard. And then 10 minutes later, or 5 minutes later, after he's escorted off the property, somebody in his chat is like, that woman that found the box was a Scientology plant. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? She's just walking down the street and found a box.
Poor lady.
Go find her.
Well, they didn't give out her name and address. Like, and the poor person in that cult too, like that person's probably a victim of this organization, and you're like out there giving their name to like the hundreds of thousands of maniacs who watch your channel.
Oh yeah.
So that was the box story. That, again, if these funny things didn't happen, this all would be very depressing.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other funny things that happened. Oh, I had this gal from Canada on to co-host, and the first time she came on to co-host, we were watching this guy named Chris Key. And he was just sitting there. He was being interviewed by fucking Stu Peters or somebody. And that's a real person's name.
Oh my God.
I would maybe go by an alias if my name sounded like Stupider, but whatever. But right there, like right in the middle of the interview, he just grabs a mason jar of his own piss and starts drinking it during the interview. And this poor gal Hildy, who came on my show, she knew she was coming on Conspiracy Bingo, but she was like, what the fuck? So, and it's actually not funny that this guy's telling other people to do this, right? This is extremely unhealthy, but it's, there's absolutely no way that anybody out there can just take this completely seriously. And I think that's why, like, what we call the dystopia beat are a lot of people who used to be trolls and like shit posters. And, a lot of people came out of that website, Something Awful, which was sort of a pre-4chan sort of, but a lot of people came out of posting on that website, like the Western Kabuki guys and the QAA guys kind of all came out of like trolling and making fun of people. And I think it's because you can't do this otherwise. You end up tearing your hair out or something. Like you have to keep it funny.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't funny, then you'd just be a slave working for Scientology, and then what is the point?
I'm glad that this is all funny, because I honestly, just based off, because I found you off I don't even remember what subreddit it was, but I found you and I emailed you, and based off, because I didn't really do any research up until like 10 minutes before the show, I thought you were like a conspiracy theorist, like you were the crazy one, and I was just like, this is going to be awesome.
Well, I might be the crazy one. I leave open the possibility that I'm just as crazy as the people I'm covering. Right.
Right. But I think that is probably the biggest sign that you're not. Because they're like, the alien Lord Zeno is coming right now and we're all going to die. But you're like, nah.
Well, or more, like much more harmful right now. Like people believe that there's this tunnel system under the Getty Museum where there's like a child trafficking operation. And I'm like, this is America, right? This is a heavily armed country. So somebody might show up there and like start shooting at the Getty. And that's terrible because first of all, like there's people there, but also like there's irreplaceable artwork and stuff at that museum too, that might get destroyed by firearms. Obviously that's not as important as the people, but so like that's, I'm not as worried about Scientology these days. Scientology is funny. That's sort of, I think, why we kept covering it, because they have their own 24-hour channel where they'll like show you like their printing press, but then they pretend they invented their printing press, which is kind of funny because everything is like Xerox on the side of the equipment. You're like, Friend, you didn't invent that. That says Xerox on it. All right. You bought that. You bought that with Tom Cruise's money. Get out of here.
Our newest product from 1605.
Xerox.
So dumb.
So I was wondering, because I didn't get too much of a chance to check out your show. Who was your last guest and what did they talk about?
So the last guest, well, he
Go with Chris instead.
So I'll go over the last two ones. So our whole main thing is going. We try to focus on creators and like content creators, and basically just give the chance for them to show off and talk about what they do, and give the.
Oh, I didn't know I was doing a commercial for myself. I probably just scared your audience into never checking out my material.
They're gonna love it.
Yeah, our audience will love this. So that's basically what it is. Just give a behind the scenes look and give like a deeper perspective of something that they might not show on their streams or in their content. Like I said, our last guest is just a streamer that's part of our community. We talked to him for a while, and the guest before that, he is like an AI enthusiast, and so he talked about all the things about AI and why we shouldn't be afraid of it.
He tried his best to convince me, but I'm still nervous. I think they're evil still.
I think it's. I don't think you should be afraid. I think it's another thing we can make fun of, because for right now, it's just very make fun ofable.
Yep, that's what he was saying. I mean, but also, there's just so many tools and stuff that we can use and utilize while we have the chance before it destroys us.
Yeah, I think and the way that I tell people, and it's not just AI, right? But AI is supposed to be this thing that like knows about everything, right? Well, the way that's not true is if there's something a lot about, you ask AI about it, and you're going to be like, well, that's not right, or that's incomplete, or that's misleading, or that's leaving out something really important. And then you have to figure that it's doing that for other things that other people know a lot of stuff about.
Right.
Sort of like, these they call themselves public intellectuals, but that's just because men don't want to call themselves influencers, right?
Yeah.
These guys who they're just willing to talk about any subject as if they know some shit about it. But then you find somebody who knows some shit about what they were talking about, and then you find they're like, well, no. And then finally that person talks about, something about, like, I don't know, influencer A, B, and C starts talking about like open source software and like Linux or whatever. And I'm like, well, I was in that industry for most of my adult life, and these people are full of shit. And I'm like, wait a minute. Then it must occur to you, wait, they're probably full of shit about everything else too.
Classic. Yeah, no, I'm not that scared. I went on a Cleverbot last night. Remember Cleverbot? I was talking about that with Chris. No, it's been like 10 years since I was on it, and I was like, I said some dumb shit. I was like, "Hi, Cleverbot. I haven't talked to you
me
in a long time. What have you been up to? How have you improved?" It said, "I've never talked to you." I was like, "You're dumb as fuck."
But imagine if it said your full name.
It just knew me. Dude, all right.
Yes, I remember you.
It would be so over.
It's been 10 years exactly.
The only one I like is Cat GPT. Have you guys used Cat GPT?
Cat GPT. What is that one?
It's got to be about cats. That one's too.
Yeah, so you just ask it anything and it just meows at you.
Very accurate.
More useful. More useful than Cleverbot for sure.
My cat's like dead. Never mind.
Oh, we're recording this on Catterday. Happy Catterday, fellas.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if you're people of the internet.
I am. My cats are. Like, one is like
dead.
I don't know what the hell she's doing. She's just like flopped on the floor in a weird position.
When I lived with, like, after I got rid of my kind of big fuck off apartment in Campbell, California, anybody from the Bay Area, like, kind of would know, like, the area. It was like the west side up against the hills, like where all the rich people live. After I decided I was going to be a journalist, I had to get rid of that apartment, and I moved in with some friends in a house on the south side, and they had cats. One of them was this purebred Maine Coon, maybe 25 pounds, this giant cat, not fat either. You've seen those pictures of those cats that are like
just huge,
just lions, basically.
So that cat was my homie, and that was fine. Except that one time we were recording, we have a show, a tech show. It's not really mine. My friend Matt, it was his idea. He just was like, well, you have a podcast network already. He's like, you want to come on and you just post it on your website? I said, sure. It doesn't sound like a lot of work. Anyway, we were recording it, and the cat was up in the rafters. I was like, kind of looking at the cat up in the rafters, and then he dive bombed me from the fucking rafters. It's amazing. It's, you know, there's a clip of it on my Twitch channel, but then we also made a GIF out of it. It's on Giphy that people could look at, and yeah, he just dive bombed me. I think I probably it might be on my wiki. I don't know, but that's funny. It wasn't on a Catterday, but it was amazing. I don't know what he was doing. I think he just wanted out off the rafters, and because, like, you know, there were like I'm pointing like people can fucking see. There were computer displays and stuff, but they're like this thick, right? So the cat can't land on him. So I was his best shot. I was the highest. And I think he knew I wasn't going to hurt him. And thankfully, I don't think his claws weren't out. So he didn't hurt me, but he sure landed on me and used me to break his fall.
It's 25 pounds, still like a dumbbell landing on you.
Have those huge ass paws too. So that shit probably be like big fists on your body. That shit's.
Yeah, but then he didn't even look back after he just walked off after he did that. Like he didn't look back to like he didn't like laugh at me or anything.
Like he owns the place. Classic.
Cats are just. I mean, that's how they are. Depends on like the kind of breed too.
Well, they think they're superior. Yeah. They think they're superior beings.
That's why they get up higher, because they're just like, this is mine. Yeah, this is all mine.
You exist to provide for me. You know what I mean? Type of thing.
I mean, I knew it was going to happen eventually because there were a few cats there. And one night, like there were like 3 cats up in the rafters, like hanging out while I was streaming. And they were just all kind of walking around up there and even like play fighting up there. And I'm like, you guys are brave play fighting up there in the rafters. Like, but I don't think any of them play fought with the giant orange cat, which I think was smart, sort of. But yeah, they'd be up there and like, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. And yeah, a cat jumped on me while I was recording the podcast.
We get close because he's right next to the cat tree. So sometimes the cats will jump onto the armrest there. So he gets jump scared sometimes.
Well, yeah, because I can't see anything like over here. And sometimes like if I have my arm like resting off over here, they'll just like try to attack my hand. I'm like, stop, dude, chill.
That's what you get for making your hand look like a toy.
Fair point. My
sister, you a little fidgety?
Yeah, a little bit. I
get that way too.
That's why I vape so much.
Especially when I'm stoned.
Yeah, no, I vape so much because I need to have something in my hand or else I lose my mind. And then it turns out that just means I have to have nicotine in my body, I guess, somehow.
I had quit smoking cigarettes for like almost 10 years. Because like I forget what it was. It was before I was like crazy enough to have a podcast. So like at that time I had a boyfriend. Maybe I should interrogate that some. But he was like, hey man, you got to stop smoking. And so I quit smoking. And then, you know, like whatever, he moved a few years later, but I hadn't smoked. And then there was a respiratory disease going around. And so I was like, apparently I just decided to start smoking. I don't know why. There's a respiratory disease going around. Seemed like the right time to do it.
Might as well. Everybody else has got one going on.
I'm getting older. So that's a risk factor. And I should start smoking. So then maybe if I get this thing, I just fucking die. I don't know.
Double or nothing.
Double or nothing.
My mom caught me out on it because I used to I would have a cigarette. Like if we'd all go out to dinner, my brother-in-law smokes. I don't really like him, but I did like that he had a cigarette if we'd stuff ourselves at some nice restaurant. But then my mom caught me out. She's like, I don't see Shane anywhere and you're smoking. She's like, you smoke again, don't you? And I'm like, well, I buy like 1 pack of cigarettes a week. She was like, do I need to call Rory and pay him to move back here so you stop smoking? And I was like, no, mom, I'll stop smoking. And then I didn't.
Yep,
a pack of cigarettes here, but I bought it 4 days ago. So
yeah, 1 pack a week ain't that bad. My neighbor used to smoke like 3 packs a week.
When I'm bad or when I was bad, I was like a pack every 2 days.
Damn.
Well, because you take one on the drive to work, on your breaks, on your lunch, and then on the way back from work, and then on the way, like while you're at home chilling before you go inside.
I mean, I say that, but this is like 5,000 puffs, and this lasts me like a week. So, yeah, I probably smoke like 4 packs a week.
I mean, just remember when we bought a carton, we went through like 8 packs.
Okay, but there was also like 4 of us there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's 2 packs each in like 5 days.
That's not that bad.
It's
Oh, the worst was like when I was in that we had the giant studio in the garage where the cat fell on me, but I could smoke a cigarette like while I was streaming, right? Because it was just in the garage.
yeah.
Pop the garage, so I was smoking a little more then. But then I forget what it was. One of the people that came on to co-host my show was like this young guy, Xavier, I think, and he was like sort of doing the same kind of stuff. And I was like, I'll have you on to co-host. And he's like, you shouldn't smoke; it's bad for your computer. And I was like, oh, I was like, well, what about me? And he's like, you're old. You're going to die soon anyway. It's like, all right, dude.
I think for the computer, it's just the ash and stuff. I don't think it's anything else.
I mean, they got fans.
No, but yeah, I think it probably is bad for the inside of your computer, right? Because all that, like, if you've ever been in somebody's house who smoked forever, everything's covered in like this thin layer of like oil from.
Dude, there was this one guy in the army. His name was Severe. He smoked Newports every day, and he smoked them in his house. And I went over to his house one time, and his whole wall was like that grimy fucking yellow.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, how do you live in here? Just get a vape, motherfucker.
Like I live in a small apartment in Oakland now, and I've been here since December. I've already, because I vape and smoke weed in here, I've already taken a like at least around where I sit on my desk, I've already taken like a towel with some water on it to the walls.
Yeah.
Like
his shit was so gross. Oh my God.
So people think the 80s was all that bright color, but actually the 80s was the color of the fucking stuff that you found, the color of the cigarette residue on that guy's walls.
My ex, her grandma, she was a pack-a-day smoker. And I remember we go to her trailer, obviously trailer. And
typical.
I went in and I was just like, wow, this like
unique
this living
smell.
Room, that too. But I was like, this living room is like such a nice, like bright yellow. That's like, you painted this? And then like I remember like seeing like a painting like move, like it was like off center.
Oh no.
And then it was just white completely.
Ew.
And I was just like, okay, so that's what it's supposed to be.
Is that shit like loose? Like if you fucking like finger drag?
Yeah, you get like the first layer or two, but you that's 30
layers. It gets hard. Yeah, it gets, you end up having it's actually hard to paint over too. You end up having to like sand down the walls. Like you can't like really, you can't like really quickly, because I've had a lot of friends in construction over the years. You can't really quickly turn over an apartment. Like you have to literally sand the walls down or something.
That's so gross.
I mean, in a garage, I will not fucking smoke a cigarette inside. Like if I go to a friend's house and they smoke, I'm like, I am not smoking inside. It is fucking gross.
Yeah, no,
I'm like, you
not touching his walls either.
I think like the last place I lived, because I had to leave in a hurry because of the bad situation. I think I started smoking cigarettes in that room there, but that was just to piss off the people that were living there while I looked for another apartment. Fuck those people.
Last time I smoked inside a house, I remember thinking, we can do that? Like you're going to do that? Because they lit one up first. I was just like, okay, I guess this is
what we do here.
Yeah, I guess this is fine.
That's just weird. Yeah, that's just weird.
It just feels wrong. Just to be in someone's living room and then just light up a cigarette. I was like, wow.
I don't even want to do it in people's like cars, even with the windows down. I'm like, this is fucking weird.
That was my car.
It depends. It depends like how old's the car.
Yeah.
Like if it's somebody's beater car, then who cares?
Yeah. I remember I got my car. I didn't care if we smoked in it, but like my dumbass friends would just consistently like fucking either like drag the fucking cigarette somehow, like passing the cigarette to the back lit, and they drag it across the ceiling.
Oh my God.
Or like fucking whenever I'm just driving, I have like my hand like kind of out the window, letting the thing go out, and the cherry will fly out the top and then land in the back seat. And then I'm like, I have to quickly pull over. I'm like sitting there fucking trying to pat the back seat, and there's just a big ass fucking hole in the seat now. I'm just like, this is the only reason why I stopped smoking. Like, no, that's not why I stopped smoking. But was the one reason.
Yeah.
All the burn holes in my car was just kind of like I was done with it. The worst is like when they fall on, like when it falls on like your like in your lap, but it's like right below your balls and you can't really get.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
And then like,
or if you think, or even worse, if it's like kind of hot out and you wonder, if you wonder where it went and you think it might be there, but you're like, I don't know, or am I just kind of fat and gross and like maybe it's hot down there?
Dude, one time I like almost got through the underwear because like I just couldn't like pat it out in time. I was driving,
shit.
bro. I was
Danger zone, bro.
And I was just sitting there trying to fucking like pat it out. Couldn't get it because like by that time the chair like sunk into the pants too. So it was in the halfway on the pants, halfway on the chair. I was just like, this is gonna hit balls and it's not gonna be good. So you can just feel the heat slowly like getting hotter.
Better hope you shaved before that. You almost died, bro.
The other place for me where it's kind of hard not to smoke is like I'm a DJ and we're starting to throw events at a friend's nightclub that they almost like the nightclub almost went out of business during COVID, and we're like kind of restarting everything there. And the downstairs dance floor, which is like the main dance floor, is like an indoor outdoor patio, and like other people are smoking out there. And I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like standing there with I've got like pre-rolled joints and like beer and stuff, like I'm just like spinning music or whatever, and I'm like, I really want a cigarette.
Yeah.
Well, you want to be normal and not like blow smoke in people's faces. I hate that.
Oh yeah,
like that's just
I mean,
you're asking to be fought if you do that.
Yeah. if it's like packed or whatever, or if the place is packed, we try to tell people not to smoke cigarettes out there, but we just restarted. So let's say packed. Not happening very often, except maybe on New Year's Eve. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to quit doing any of that stuff. And I think that I think that a lot of times it's like either the incentives around quitting are weird. Like mine was like my boyfriend wanted me to do it, and I was like, well, all right, I'll quit. Or you're like, well, my balls can't handle this anymore, so quit.
Well, mine just went to vaping because I was just like, I could spend. Like, because it was a pack every other day, so that's like $60, $70 a week. I was like, I could spend $20 on a vape, and it'll last me like a week and a half.
Well, this way you get water in your lungs instead of fire. So
and I can also smoke inside without feeling like as weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could have quit vaping. I was getting kind of close at one point. I don't remember. I think it was just annoying to vape at one point. Like the technology wasn't quite there yet. So you either bought those little fake cigarettes and those kind of sucked.
They sucked.
Or you had to buy these like science project looking fucking things that didn't always work, or they discontinue the coils that you needed or whatever. And now you had to like try to order them online. But then everything got ubiquitous and like two companies took over the whole thing. And so now you can.
Thankful for, because I remember I was in that day where like I went from those shitty ass like fake cigarette ones where like you couldn't get a drag to save your life. And then you had the ones where I remember sitting there having to build and wrap my own coils and having to do fucking
science project.
Yeah, learn electricity and how ohms work because I don't want to explode.
There was also like that 5-year gap where like if you were a vapor, everybody thought you were a fucking loser.
Yeah.
So like,
well, that's because the people would have
you did all that just to get made fun of. Still,
yeah. Well, that's because
right.
They didn't do it, but they did it to themselves because like they would have vape competitions. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
Of course, they're gonna make fun of you.
Yeah, I remember in San Jose, it was hard to find DJ bookings in San Jose, California, just because like fucking tech bros like ruined the culture, right? They like the tech bros showed up, a lot of kind of incels and MRA sort of adjacent, like tech people in tech. And so the women wouldn't go out. And so it was like hard to get bookings to like spin music because I don't play pop music. I play like house music and break beats. And they wanted me to, somebody hit me up and seemed like a good paying gig. And I'm like, oh, is it somebody's birthday or whatever? They're like, oh no, we're having a vape competition and we want a DJ. And I was like, listen, man, I was like, I could use the money. I'm like, but I do not want this shit on my resume. I do not want people to think that I'm the vape contest DJ. All right. Like we just can't do this.
How are the hurricanes though? Were they sick or what? People fucking.
I just want to see the O's on the beat drop.
Nah.
I didn't end up taking that booking, and it sucked because it was this place I really liked too. It was this really nice place, 55 South, that I like to hang out at. And I didn't ever bother. Like the owner was like not really my friend, but I was there a lot, and so he knew me. But I never bothered him about it. But I was like, it's kind of whack that you let these people like people were vaping inside at that time, but it's like it's different than like filling the room with fucking vape smoke.
Oh yeah.
Like who wants to be there? Like a normal person doesn't want to be there like during that.
It's like a fog machine.
Yeah.
But deadly.
Remember this?
Yeah, I just remember there were all these memes, right? You're like, oh, you're walking down the street, you smell like strawberries and bananas, and you think maybe there's a cupcake shop around the corner. No, you turn around the corner and it's fucking Brad with his vape.
Yeah, I remember because I was going to like this vape shop, and it was like more of like a hookah lounge mixed with like a vape shop, and like because they had like a whole bar area where they would literally set out like basically shots worth of like things, but it was really just like it was like the tubs filled with liquid, and you just put your own like tip on it, and you could take a hit of it to test out the flavors and shit. It was a weird concept, but it worked. And I only went there a lot because number one, the juice was cheap, and number two, they would build me the coil thing that I needed because like I said, I couldn't be fucked after so long. And then, but the funniest thing about that place was on the back wall, they had a big mural, and it was like a sideways like measuring tape going along the whole thing. I was like 10 feet. And I was just like, what is that? It was like, oh, that's just to see how big you can blow your clouds. And I was just like, this is lame.
That hurts my soul.
So in the opposite of this, when I first moved to Oakland, I was just, I was like, oh shit, I can like fucking go to like weed shops.
Oh yeah.
I can buy stuff. I have friends up north, and so I like always have like, B+ grade weed or whatever. But I was like, I get something like super nice for if like friends come over or whatever. And I went to the weed shop, and they're like, oh, it's your first time here, so go out on the patio and hang out for a minute. And I was like, what, patio? And I hung out on the patio, and they're like, here, have a complimentary pre-roll. And do you want a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, this is a new thing that we're doing here, and we're trying to encourage people to maybe come hang out here and, smoke up. And I was like, you just gave me a free joint and a free cup of coffee? They're like, well, it's your first time here. I was like, all right. I mean, I guess I'll be late to my next thing. Thanks.
Every day is my first.
So that's like the opposite of the wall with the measuring tape for the vape. I don't know if it caught on though, because I've been back to that shop and I've never seen anybody out on their patio. I think people just want to go in and get their weed and get out of there.
And then,
yeah. Well, that's all. I feel like weed is always something that you kind of do. Like, that's like, you're either going to like a parking lot with the boys, or you're like, I'm just going to do this on my porch.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not parking lot I think you're still thinking of like being like 15, 16 years old.
I did that shit when I was like 21.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, when weed used to be illegal. Oh, the best one. So I had this car. It was like a Volkswagen Scirocco. We had modified it. It was like a fun fucking car to drive. It was fast, but it was painted like primered. It was like primered, and so there was this I guess sort of like a car dealership, but also like sort of half junkyard that had all these old, like kind of busted down German cars that were always parked out in front. And I was like, well, my car, as long as they don't see the fucking rims, they'll drive by and my car will just look like it belongs here. And so we'd always just fucking hotbox my car right there when we were kids, because we never got caught or anything, because it just looked like, you park it next to some, busted up old fucking 20-year-old Mercedes that probably doesn't start. And it just looks like, again, as long as nobody saw the rims, I suppose. And it was so weird, like thinking about like driving around looking for places to get high and shit when I was a kid. It is kind of dumb.
And I remember
dumb that it was illegal.
I have a similar story where I did get caught, and this is back when like weed was like expensive, I guess. Either that or I was just getting scammed, but it was like $20 a gram. And so
I paid a twomp. You get a twomp.
I've never heard of that before. But so we just bought a gram, and we're like, holy shit, we got so much fucking weed. And then we go to the skate park. That's like that was like our only local hangout spot. I'm in the back seat with my friend, and there's these two girls up front, and then he grinds it up, packs the bowl. He takes a hit, and I'm a super big lightweight when it comes to weed. So it comes back around to me. I take one hit. I'm fucking gone already. I don't know where I'm at anymore. And then it gets back up to the girl in the front, and she's in the driver's seat. I'm in the back passenger seat, and she's hitting it. And this guy's like walking across. And it's like 7 p.m. at night. And then this guy like leans forward in front of the windshield and like just kind of like stares at her as she's like hitting this. And then like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And then he goes around to the driver's seat, and he's just like knocks on the window. We're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And then he's just like, hey, what are you doing in there? And then we're just like, dude, go away. And then he fucking pulls out a badge and just like, police department, open up the window. And then my friend goes, fuck. And then he's like, no fucking way. And then he pulls out, we roll down the window. He's like, all right, really? You guys are doing this right here? We're like, yeah. And I'm thinking, and I'm high as fuck at this point. Remember that. So I'm looking in the distance. I'm seeing like I'm seeing the skate park, and I'm seeing like the space beyond it. I'm just like, I could run right now, and I can get away. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna be too slow, and my car is here. I'll have to come back. And then he makes the girl, or he asks like, just give me the bag of weed. And my friend gives him the bag that it was in. And mind you, he only packed one bowl, and I guess the bag had somehow like fell upside down, and so when he picked up the bag, all the weed just fell onto the floor.
Oh my God.
So he just handed him the empty bag. He's like, here, man, we just got rid of the rest. And then he's just like, all right. He's like, now give me the pipe. And then it was this nice like little piece that was like, it had a duck head and everything. Like this girl she bought it that day, and she was so happy about it, and she was so proud. And then she takes it, he gives it to him, and she's like, you know what? You're going to break this. And then she's just like, no, you can just have it. He's like, no, you're gonna break, and that's because he didn't want to take it to fucking evidence, obviously. But he's like, you're gonna break this right now. She's like, well, isn't that littering? And she's like, I don't fucking care. I'm trying to look back. I was like, was this guy even a fucking cop? But he makes her get out, and we're at this point we're just laughing because like this is funny now. Because she gets out of the car and she starts crying. She throws it onto the ground, and she's just in tears. And I'm just like, this is the best outcome. And then he's like, all right, now I don't want to see you guys driving, because if I see you drive, I'm gonna call up some people, and you're gonna get arrested for a DUI. And I was like, drat, I had to stay here for a couple hours.
Oh, the cop is gonna call the cops.
Yeah.
Huh.
So he leaves, and then we pull away a little bit. And he's just like, I didn't realize at this time that all the weed fell on the ground. And so my friend is like, guys, get a bag. And we're like, why? He's like, all the fucking weed's on the ground. Hurry, help me pick it up. And so he's like fucking picking up crumbs of weed from the fucking floor of the car. And we're just like, and then later that night we just smoked car floor weed. And disgusting.
Hey, guys, what you got to do, man.
The only time I ever had to deal with the cops when we had weed was like, I got pulled over. Cops like, car smells like weed. I'm like, yeah. Cops like,
right.
Do you guys have any real drugs? I was like, no. He's like, all right, don't let me pull you over again. And just left.
I wish.
And, that was crazy because I had a bunch of ecstasy in a backpack in my trunk. And we were on our way to the freeway because we were on our way to a party. And I was like, well, now we're the highway patrol's problem.
Yep. I wonder which one's worse. It's got to be the highway patrol.
Oh, yeah. Highway.
Oh, I don't know. I've never been pulled over by the fucking California Highway Patrol. I haven't had a car in so long anyway. Like, I mean, like after grad school, I moved to the city, like San Francisco, and I was just, my car got broken into a couple times, and then I got tired of parking it, and then I just fucking sold my car. I was like, fuck this.
Damn straight. See, he gets it.
Yeah, but he lived in San Francisco. That's like the car break capital of the city.
Well, and you don't need a car.
Yeah, too.
Definitely not me. Haven't left the house in a long time.
So did you go to school for journalism, or did you just
no.
What do you said where you got your degree? I forget the.
Well, at Berkeley.
Yeah.
it?
But I mean, my degree is in political science, but like I was already working in technology. I was already working at Creative Labs, like when I was in grad school. So I just finished grad school and started working in tech, like working with like open source, Linux, and network security. You know, it's a very common story for someone my age from the Bay Area.
So why Twitch? What made you pick Twitch out of all the other platforms? I mean, obviously you do YouTube and podcasts and stuff like that, but for live streaming purposes, why Twitch?
It's funny you asked this. It's because we were pushing the feed to like, you know, a few different places just to check out, you know, to try to switch to video. We were getting this thing that was saying, oh, you know, your stream is unstable. Something's wrong with your stream. And I was like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I had fiber internet and I'm like, what's going on? So I opened, Twitch said, you know, your stream's unstable. And I looked down and it said Twitch Inspector. And I said, ooh, what's that? And I opened that up and it like told me that my settings in OBS were wrong.
Yeah,
and I was like, and I changed the settings and then
designed around it, right? So
yeah, then I changed the settings and everything was good. And I just asked around a little bit and people were like, well, in addition to that, it's going to be easier for you to build a community on Twitch than somewhere else. But yeah, it was mostly that it told me that my settings in OBS were wrong. That's why I chose Twitch.
I'm glad that OBS kind of like integrated more with Twitch because it just, like you said, it just makes it easier so I can just press the auto wizard.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, Twitch is just the easiest place for everybody. Like it's easier to make money. Kick is like freer, I guess, but who the fuck wants to be on Kick? YouTube is just good luck. Our one of our old friends, we don't talk about him anymore. But he used to run ads on his YouTube and he would lose money on his YouTube stream. So that didn't work too well for him. But
man, yeah. We got a YouTube channel pulled down during COVID for covering a city council meeting because the people were Zoom brigaded the city council meeting and were saying like, you know, spreading a lot of medical misinformation. We got our YouTube account suspended for like covering that. Like, but it's weird because the city council meeting was broadcast on YouTube. So, and it was a city council meeting. Like we were covering like local government stuff. And I was like, so we had to like, I waited a while because I didn't want to like start up a YouTube channel and have them immediately come after me for ban evasion. So I waited a while and I started a new channel and it's just been, it's real hard. You know, for a while we couldn't really get anybody to follow us. The only thing that ever like drove traffic and followers was like talking about that anti-Scientology stuff, but I don't want to be a YouTube channel about that because then I'll get fucking sucked into that fucking shit. Fuck that.
And then you're stuck in that niche forever.
Right. And I mean, we still, you know, sometimes that stuff goes up there and whatnot, but it's just if it's in the course of our other content and we decide to clip it out from the live the night before, like I have something that we're going to put up. I'm on a 7-day ban from YouTube. I forget what for. Fucking that site is so fucking crazy. Like the other problem is they don't tell you what it was. They don't tell you. They said, here's the rule you broke. And you're like,
and then they still make you take a quiz on it.
Right. Well, this video is an hour and a half and I do cover like controversial stuff. So could you tell me, was it me? Was it something I ran? If it was something I ran, can I determine that I found it on your website? If I found it on your website and it's still there on your website, why did I get, but none of it matters because the only way to get any customer service from them is to like annoy them on Twitter.
Yeah.
Until they like look into it. Mind you, I've had good experiences this last time when I do that because I know like what to say. I tell a few bigger creators that I know that like that I got dinged and that I, you know, it'd be nice if they retweeted or, you know, if there's people who might be known entities to the YouTube, Twitter. And then I know exactly what to say because before I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? And that actually doesn't work. But now like, depending on what the thing is, I'm like, I don't, you know, if it was like harassment, I'm like, this was a news show. I'm not sure that I was harassing, you know, Channel 7, right, by talking about the dumb way they covered, you know, some local event. And, you know, so, and I'm like, you know, could you take another look at this? Because I don't think I violated any of the rules. And I've been pretty successful, like, when I've had to do it, but it just sucks that that's the only way if you're not, like, you're not big enough to get like direct support, you just have to like track them down on Twitter and and somebody more popular than you essentially has to get them to pay attention to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been on Twitch, full time probably since 2020, and we've talked about some shit, right? We've talked about, if you remember the thing about Wayfair where they said they were trafficking children in furniture.
That. Yeah.
We covered that like extensively. I've never had any, like, we've covered people drinking their own urine. We've covered a lot of old like satanic panic material. And I've never even had to deal with that with Twitch. Maybe people, I've probably been brigade reported on YouTube. I think the people from Honey Badger Radio got pretty mad at me, after we ran a psychological operation on them, causing one of the people in their organization to steal all the money out of the PayPal. So I think we got brigade reported after we did that to them. But fuck them, they deserved it. They fucking published my mother's home address, and that's just not. They said that I lived there, which I didn't. But
that's just fuck that.
That'll make a guy mad, and that'll make a guy like me fuck with you. So
take the gloves off, man. That shit.
Hi, Honey Badger Radio. I'm glad to see that you're now broadcasting. One of you is left in broadcasting from what appears to be your bedroom, and we can see the sun from your window. And the video is really bad because somebody stole all your money. Oopsie.
No, I remember I got my first strike, only strike on my YouTube. I don't stream there anymore because it's just too much. It's just too annoying. There's just no point in it because it's like all I did was I reacted to a comedian for 10 minutes. But
you think,
right?
Because they didn't tell you.
Well, I assume it's the only one that's ever gotten me in trouble. But there was also like 100 reaction videos of the same video that I reacted to. But what my understanding of it is that because I did it live, now I breached the rules.
Oh.
Like, I'm just like, dude, like, what do you want from me? I reacted to somebody's content, which I almost never do anyway, but whatever, for 10 minutes. And it's something other people reacted to, but because it's live streamed, now it's a strike or whatever. So I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, we had a third-party content strike for something. I was able to get that removed because the place that we found it was YouTube, and it was certainly not the original. Like, I was like, hey, this other person posted this, old VHS that they had found without any commentary, and you're leaving it up. But we were, talking about, it was like some old video. I think it was that that video that Geraldo did about the satanic panic, where he had somebody from Motley Crue on or whatever, and tried to like bother them about all this stuff. And the Motley Crue guy was basically like, hey man, this is just marketing. What are you talking about? Which is fair. Or maybe it was Ozzy that he had on. I forget. But I was like, hey, this is just up complete in full on somebody's channel. That's where we found it. And you haven't removed that. So, and then I was like, well, fuck, now I just threw that other person under the bus. Yeah. God damn it. But then they just removed the strike from my fucking account. I was like, man, because that was again live, right? And I think that you were that if you're doing that stuff live, if it's third party content, they take it down, I guess.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense though. It's like it's still like falls under fair use in my.
You would think so,
but whatever reason, fair use is different when it's live.
But then you go back to like 2013 and ISIS is beheading people on YouTube, and then you're like, all right, well, this is normal, right? And then
the problem with fair use, right? The problem with fair use is that to like actually litigate it is expensive. Like if like the original copyright owner does not believe that your use of it was a fair use, then you actually have to like get a lawyer and like go through a process with the courts. And I don't know. I mean, this giant 400 square foot apartment is the lap of luxury, but I don't have no money for a lawyer.
I mean, that's why I stopped on YouTube, because Twitch doesn't give a fuck unless you're just not saying anything. If you're not reacting and you're just restreaming it, you're gonna get in trouble. But
depending on what it is, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. It totally like if you're watching like last night's episode of whatever the hottest show is, you're done. You're cooked no matter where you're doing it.
For a little bit, you could even do that. Remember the cooking show?
Yeah.
There was that arc where everybody was just watching like Gordon Ramsay all day.
Well, that was different because it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
but I'm talking about like there was some where you could like, because it was like an anime one, especially it was like an anime website where it technically wasn't like, for whatever reason it like wasn't a loophole, and everyone was streaming anime all the time because you could technically like get away with it. And then they changed that really quick when they realized all their biggest creators were all watching anime at the same time.
I once got the original copyright holder to remove a copyright claim on something. There's this famous video, I know you've seen it, of like a whale that they blew up.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. So I forgot to like, because I put up a segment, like the end basically of one of my streams, like it's just like that's the segment on YouTube, and I'd forgotten to cut, like as I rated out to somebody. I thought sometimes I'll just run like a funny, like classic video like that when we're rating out. And I forgot to cut that off. And I got a hold of the copyright holder, and I was like, hey, that video is fucking classic. I didn't mean to like, even upload that portion of the thing. And, I'm sorry I violated your copyright. You have every right to monetize that video, but if you could show me a little grace here and take away the copyright strike. They reply to me like the next day. They're like, you're the first person to ever just come to us and apologize for violating our copyright. They're like, yeah, well, we'll remove it. They're like, they're like, don't do that again. I'm like, no worries, man. I'm like, well, I was like, if I ever need to license this, how much is it? And then they sent me back the thing, and it was $22,000.
Oh, hell no.
I was like, well, I sent them back a thing. I'm like, well, I don't need to license this video. I was like, thank you for being cool.
Thank you for the information. I love doing that shit. Like, just spitballing with somebody and trying to figure out like how much something costs. You're like, so how much is, I remember we were looking at puppies. We were like, me and my wife were just sitting there and we're like playing with this dog. We're like, wow, this is nice. And like the lady's just like, so what do you think about her? And we're like, wow, this dog is awesome. This is so cool. We're like, yeah. She's like, so like, how much is like the adoption and everything like that? And she's just like, okay, well, we're running a special. It's half off. So normally it's 10,000, but today it's 5. And I was just like, oh, that's just 5. All right, we're gonna think about it.
That must be one hell of a dog.
I think it was just a normal beagle.
But if it's a purebred beagle, somebody will pay that for it.
Yeah, I mean, all these dogs are like purebred, but I'm just like, it's in a
friends out there. If you're looking to adopt a pet, get one from the shelter.
Yeah.
Get a shelter pet. You'll find a real friendly animal in a shelter. No problem there. Yeah,
we've ever had has been adopted.
For Catterday for a while, we were watching these cat shows. We were watching these.
Those are so.
They were like videos from like cat shows, and we were watching. We're like, this is pretty cool. And then by like the second time we watched it, we're like, wait a minute. These cats must be fucking terrified because you're taking them from there. First of all, you're like brushing them all the time, and you're just turning them into this perfect looking cat, which they don't care about. Then you're taking them and you're putting them in a cat carrier and throwing them on a fucking airplane. Fly them across the country to go to this place where there's all these people they've never seen before, and there's like amplified sound and all these other cats, and then they got this judge holding the cat up and
just like manhandle him, just like
and it's look at how and it's like
it's like so funny.
And these are like cats that are like purebred and like kind of inbred, and like they're all have all these health problems because they're like these sort of purebred cats that are like bred to have like a flat face, and now it can't drink water out of a fucking bowl and shit. And it's like wait a minute, we can't watch this anymore because we're watching people who have no real social skills torture a cat so that they can get on TV. I'm like, this is not great.
Have you been down the deep dive of the animal rescue channels on YouTube? Have you seen that?
Come on, like, people like break the car windows to get dogs in the heat.
No, like there's certain channels that like rescue animals, right? They like run like a local shelter in their country or whatever. But like it's been found that a lot of them are just like taking animals that they already have and putting them into like a really fucked up situation.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
kayfabe.
well, we got to save them. And it's like, this is like the third time you save this dog.
I guess it's better than like, because I could imagine another scenario where they like, supposedly rescue an animal from somewhere and then just take that animal to somewhere else that's just as fucking bad or something,
Yeah, true.
At least it's all an act.
I've seen one where they take just people's pets, like just normal people's pets. Like they're not in danger. They're not suffering or anything. They're just like,
we have to save them.
Yeah. Like, and they'll just Like it'll be like in a car, windows down, AC on, in like fucking 50-degree weather, and someone's just like, "I got you," and breaks the fucking window. They take it, put it in the pound. And
the dog's like hanging out and listening to Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Like, everything's fine. Like
owner just walked away, just walked into Walmart.
I can only imagine how many Tesla windows were broken before they put that display on for like the pets that's saying like, "It's cold in here. Don't worry. The car is safe for the animal right now." Because, which is also a cool feature, by the way.
It's like that clip of The Office where Oscar breaks the window.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, "What do you want to do with the dog?" He's like, "Why would we take the dog?" And then he just puts cardboard back over the window.
Do you remember the one scene too where they think the office is on fire and then Angela's just throwing her cats into the ceiling?
Yeah.
Like,
now you guys have lost me. I don't watch a lot of TV. The only shows I've ever really watched are like X-Files and Burn Notice.
I like X-Files.
Never seen Burn Notice. What is that?
Like,
Oh my God, Burn Notice is such a great show because by the third episode they realized that it was not a serious thing. that it becomes very funny. It's like very, very, very
But
comedic.
What is it though? Is it like conspiracy shit or what?
No, it's about a guy that used to be a spy, and then they like cut him off from all his resources. I don't know why, and then he's just like going around Miami, and his girlfriend like blows everything up. I don't know.
Fair enough.
But it's like you know how the A-Team. Remember how the A-Team would have like a client where they'd like try to help somebody with some problem that they had or whatever. It's that kind of show where they have like a person, like an old lady got scammed and they go in and use whatever secret spy stuff to figure out who scammed her and get the money back. It's like one of those. It's quite bad, and that makes it fantastic.
Yeah, but that was the glory of those old shows. Was everything was fucking terrible, so it was funny.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about Burn Notice is the Aziz Ansari bit when he talks about like cousin watching. Don't know if you ever heard about that. Funny bit. But also I hear Aziz Ansari is a bad person, but not a funny bit.
Didn't he? What was it? Sexual assault or something?
That's most of them.
Yeah.
So.
Comedian world.
Yeah.
Well, we've been going for like 3 hours.
Been?
2.
Yeah. Has it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoops.
We started at
that's
his time.
I mean, this is making sure everybody knows that I have both really good taste in television and really bad taste in television. It's a good place to leave it as anywhere.
Well, it's been a complete pleasure. I mean, like I said, I thought that we were going to be talking to someone who was a conspiracy theorist, not someone who was.
We thought you were going to pull up with actual tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
But you do have a tinfoil hat, just not the same.
Available. Well, this one again, limited edition, no longer available, but many other color combinations are available at eplex.store, along with like other cool stuff.
I'm actually going to buy one because it's. And we're just talking about how people just come on here to sell us stuff, but this time I'm actually going to buy it, so it's all right.
Oh, well, that's good. I did give the hard sell by wearing it.
That's just a plug. That's different.
Yeah.
They'll be like, well, you can find out more about that in my book. And they just repeat the same 6 voice lines over and over again.
Oh, that's weird. When I've had people on like that I've interviewed about their book or even like a documentary that wasn't out yet, they've just given the thing to me.
What the fuck?
Like a book?
Getting scammed.
Yeah.
We didn't even get the book for free.
So fucked up. I want to learn how to make things sticky. God,
well, maybe you're not a big important person who sometimes has 57 people watching their Twitch channel like I am. I don't know.
You don't have to flex on us. Like that's crazy. That's crazy to come on here and flex. It's one thing.
It's almost partner.
It's one thing to promote. It's another to flex. Now we're really ending.
All right, everybody. This has been real fun. I didn't know what to expect really when I came on here. You guys are fucking funny, and you guys knew a little bit more about the conspiracy stuff than a lot of people who interview me, especially like the 5G. When you brought up the 5G, I'm like, okay, these people have been paying a little bit of attention.
We love that shit. The conspiracy, your cryptid Fridays, that is what we just do with ourselves. Like not too much anymore, but we used to just sit there and watch like the compilations and just go through Reddits of like cryptids, conspiracies, paranormal, UFOs. Like we're just hours just on and just scrolling through it. And
we should do this again. Maybe we come on your podcast or something.
Yeah, I would love.
Yeah, I'll need you. I'll need you guys to do a little something about your setup and your cameras. But I'd love, you guys are welcome to come on if you have like a desk and like stands and stuff. And
I mean, we can
just go on our own computers and
do
stuff.
Discord and stuff like that.
Yeah, we could. I'd have you guys on for conspiracy bingo. Fuck yeah! But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do the fun ones. I'd make you watch the piss drinkers and.
We're down for that. I mean,
I'd make you watch the terrifying part of it. The guy who thinks that they're gonna invade the Getty Museum and save the children. That guy will make you watch him.
That's why I want that, because I mean, I get tired of seeing the same fake UFO over and over and over. I want to see shit.
Jesus's face next to the moon. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Wait, that was real. What are you talking about? Do you think that wasn't Jesus? What the fuck, man?
I felt it in my heart.
I knew he was
felt
alive,
it. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? Heart emoji.
Prayer hands.
All right. Well, if we're gonna end here, I'm just gonna fucking advertise myself here. If you're still watching this conversation, you've been here for 2 hours, so you must think I'm entertaining, or that these two are very entertaining, and by proxy, you must like me. So you can find my work on my blog at echoplexmedia.com. When you go there, click the top. It says the Defamation Times. That is my blog. That's because somebody we wrote about called the blog the Defamation Times, and I was like, I'm going to use that.
It's a good name.
And names are the ones that are given to you.
True.
And then twitch.tv/Echoplex Media, or I also DJ sometimes on Twitch, though. I've been playing more at real life events now that I live in a proper city. And there's a link to my DJ channel on my main Twitch channel. And eplex.store, buy a fucking hat.
I will. Fine.
Yeah.
I will. He keeps telling me to. I guess I will.
It's the first time.
I was telling your audience now, not you.
Sorry, subliminal.
But also you. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Let me know when this comes out.
It should be out, as barring my computer being healthy, it will be up next Friday.
Well, we'll send them in case there's anything you want taken out or anything. I don't know if you will, but
I think everything's kosher. What about you? Or do you think there's anything that we'd have to potentially cut?
I go into these things assuming that that people are like me and don't want to try to edit an interview.
fair.
There's some things that I have to cut, but there's not from here, but in the past. But yes,
Yeah.
I try not to as well.
I try to be pretty mindful of like where it's going, like not just where it's going to go for your, for you, the hosts dealing with TOS, but also like mindful of like what the fuck I'm saying that's going to be public. So
Yeah.
Well, you saved us from the Scientology lawsuit with the allegedly, so I think I think we'll be fine.
I only said allegedly once, which
It's like an umbrella term. So I think
just maybe just put that in every once in a while. Allegedly. Back through.
Just put that as a subtitle. Just allegedly. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But all right, Dave, thanks so much for joining us again. This was
fun.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
And then hit us up.
Yeah, you guys,
we're totally down to do that the cryptid bingo.
Well, we're going on regular conspiracy bingo. Maybe sometime in March.
Oh yeah.
In March.
Just let us know.
Yeah, just stay in touch. Stay in touch via email or if you want, like, you can find my Discord and stuff.
Yeah, we'll probably join the Discord, everything like that. Get you added on there. Like I said, I didn't want to add you on Discord just yet because I like I said, I thought you were going to be the nuts person. So I was just like,
well,
I was like,
if you join my Discord server, the people in there are nuts, but they're like good. They're like good crazy. They're like good trouble. So
it's all right. You should see our Discord.
Perfect.
So,
Don't match
thanks,
well.
guys.
Thank you. Have a good one, man.
Thank you.
Well, guys, that was a lot different than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it was fire.
I like I said, I totally expected this guy to be a conspiracy theory, like they're turning the frogs gay. But this guy was fucking sick, and he's just like an actual professional.
He was so much more like held back than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of crazy that like we brought up Scientology first, and that just happened to be the one thing that he's like been
His
covering.
specialty.
Yeah, and we're like sick, but he's sick. I see us doing things in the future with this guy. So
Hell yeah.
hey, hit 400 followers. Yeah.
Well, how did that happen? Oh, Gail. Shout out Gail.
Lit. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. All of Dave's links will be down below. All of Mamba's links will be down below. He's live almost every single day except for Saturday, which is today. So he won't be live today.
But usually you're live on Saturday.
Usually. We'll see. Guys, all my links will be down below. I'm going to get it back into the edit grind. I've just been busy with... I've been busy with work. So I haven't been editing as much as I need to. But I'm going to be bringing back the editing streams as well, so I can That way I have an excuse to stream and an excuse to edit at the same time. So if you want to catch those, all my links will be down below. Cooking streams as normal, hopefully starting again soon. Mamba Live. Check out his YouTube. He's posting all the time there. Check out his TikTok.
My heart goes out to you.
So much stuff going on there. Guys, we love you. And this has been the Yap Squad.
Signing out. Goodbye. God, I hate them.